Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. It's episode 506. Just Doug and I in the studio doing the pre-intro for this one.
We're still alive.
This is the long-awaited in-studio Whitetail Adrenaline podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So we've pre-recorded quite a bit because we've been the old road dogs on the show lately.
We had a bunch of roadies.
We've done what? We've done ATA. We've done Nebraska. We did PA, which was a grind. Indiana, and we just got back from the Iowa Deer Classic. So huge shout out to everyone that came by and bought merch from us, said hello, supported us in any way. We really do appreciate the fuck out of you guys.
Pretty crazy.
It was nuts. Indiana, I'll be honest. I went into Indiana thinking we weren't going to do Indiana again, just with everything, because we got to drop a couple of them, or at least cycle a couple every other. It's not sustainable to hit it like we're hitting it every single year.
I don't think we'll live if we do that.
No, we'll die. We did Indiana, and I'm like, yep, well, we have to come back to this one. We
awesome
had a blast. It was amazing.
We just had, even this booth, like where the booth was, and then the seminars, and like everything's just
the
perfect.
way they put on that show with the seminar stage, we got to do the live podcast. Like now knowing what we know, we'll come in a little harder for the podcast next year live on stage, and maybe we'll start doing those more.
Yeah.
I got some ideas.
Uh-oh.
Brewing in my little head of mine. Actually, I got a quite large head. So,
oh boy.
Anyway, thank you if you came out to the Indiana show. That was a good time. Iowa Classic was this past weekend.
It's a great time.
Fantastic. It was a great turnout, man. Lots of fun.
A lot of people.
Some of our wives came out and hung out Saturday night, and shout out to you guys who came by, and all positive vibes. There's no time for negative vibes because we're moving straight ahead. Got them blinders on, so we appreciate you guys came out, high-fived us, drank a beer with us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was good. It was
Drank
awesome.
a lot of beer.
Drank a lot of beer. I actually was a good boy.
I was not.
But you know what? Maybe I won't be such a good boy in Ohio.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we'll go out on the town one. Now, I'm due for another night out.
Yeah, you are. Well, we'll be at the Whitetail Adrenaline.
Dude, once you hang out with Whitetail Adrenaline for like 12 fucking days in PA,
no, I get it.
You're pretty much done going out for a little bit. Because I was getting people were messaging me photos of like with you, going, I figured Kurt would be out with you, messaging me saying I figured Kurt would be out with the boys. I'm like, what do you, my liver hurts.
we're at the hotel bar, and then Eric and then went to like a steak dinner. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, if I do that, I'm not going out. So I went out solo dolo.
Oh, I thought you went out to get a steak dinner with them boys.
Oh, no, I went to the bar, the PBR bar.
Oh, well, there was at one point I thought you were out by yourself, and I was like, what? I got to go get him. They're like, no, he's not by himself. There's some people with him.
Yeah, I was with some friends, so.
Okay, so there's a funny story. We have a lot of funny stories that will probably come out in the future. Doug, how many tags have you punched?
It's not good.
It was Saturday night, and everyone's like, how many tags have you punched, Doug? He's like, well, I got to take 2 down tonight to stay on par. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that ain't happening.
I tried.
Hey, it's tough out here.
Yeah, it's tough out here. But there is a funny story. After Beer Can Alley, I mean, I was pretty smoked. It's pretty hard when you wear a Dale Earnhardt shirt out. You got to expect for...
Oh, you wore that out? This is the night you had it on?
I got to...
By the way, downtown Des Moines is getting pretty rough.
Yeah, a lot of drinks were heading my way, so I was pretty sauced, but...
And there was a shooting Friday night in Des Moines while we were there.
Yeah.
And some dude died. Like, there was people at the show talking to me saying they saw it happen. So that's not great promo for that show, but it's reality.
That's just downtown somewhere.
That's just downtown in the city.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But we were leaving, and me and my buddy Drew were walking with some girl, and, some guy tried catcalling at her or something. And I think he said some words. I mean, I was pretty hammered at this point, so... He said some words back, and then he threw out the C word. And then my buddy Drew didn't like that, so I was trying to calm it down, and then hammered me, was like, nah, just go for it. So then he had...
The inner hockey player came out?
Yeah, he had a little more friends than we thought. So while we're talking shit and, stuff's about to go down, I can't make this up, we're at a stoplight, kind of, and a minivan pulls up, and some guy just rolls down the window. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Doug?" And then,
I thought he said, "Hey, are you Doug?"
Something around that. And I was like, "Hey, you want to help kick some ass?" And dude, the one guy's like, "Hell yeah!" He gets out of the minivan, and like he's like 7 foot fucking tall. I was like, "Holy shit!" The heavens are smiling. Someone's looking out for me here. And like 5 guys hopefully whoever's listening to this, if you were that guy, let me know.
We got some WCB merch for everybody.
For you boys. That was pretty awesome.
We should just invite them guys to the studio.
Dude, for sure. And then they went to the bar with me too. I can't believe I don't remember them, but that's what alcohol does to you.
Dang.
But hopefully they reach out and, we'll get with them.
So these 5 dudes are about to kick you and your buddy's ass. And then this dude
we
rolls
have
up.
5 more dudes now.
Are you Doug?
Yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, you want to help kick some ass? The guy's like, hell yeah. They're pretty amped up too. They're down to clown.
Hey, those are our boys right there.
Yeah, they're our boys. That was
what
awesome.
What are the chances that in that moment, some dude's like, hey, Doug? Yeah, dude, get out here and help us.
Like out of a movie. And it's like, hell yeah.
You owe that guy some shit.
I do. I owe him. I think hopefully I bought him some drinks or something.
If not, we'll get him out the next one.
Yeah, we'll get you next time.
That's a great story. That was like the story of the day on Sunday.
Yeah, thanks to you guys, yeah.
That's pretty incredible. That was worth telling. I wanted you to tell that story just like hopefully those guys hear it.
I hope they do hear it. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't reached out yet. Hopefully they do.
Yeah, I think they will after this if they listen on a regular basis. Well, that's cool.
Shout out to those guys.
I played
some of the boys
and hung out and had a good time, man. We had the new Iowa shirts and moved a bunch of hats. So shout out to everybody who came out and supported us.
It was a great time.
Man, the podcast is presented by Elite Archery. We're getting our Elite Envisions in. We just opened Doug's Elite Envision here at the studio.
Slicker than jet.
Purple rain.
It was a way better purple than I thought too. Like it's like
I thought it'd be a little louder.
Yeah.
I'm a little I'm not a little jealous. I'm pretty jealous of that because it's like it kind of looks black from some angles.
Yeah, if you catch it at a right angle, it almost looks black. Like I don't know.
It's sexy.
Looks real good.
I got Mountain Tan. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
That's a good color too.
I really like the feel of the new Envision. I'm excited to get mine all pimped out and set up. Get over to Shooters Archery and set them up. Big Tine. Man, Big Tine. We were the show dealers for Big Tine at the Indiana show and the Iowa show, and we will be at the Illinois show coming up in the first weekend of April. We'll be pretty much right across from Big Tine. Be thinking about frost seeding. That's what we did that live podcast on in Indiana. We talked frost seeding. We talked using the borderline lineup. I plan on doing both. I got to rob some seed. Chandler's got all the clover seed. I got to get down there and get some. And I think we're going to try and do some videos on it and stuff like that. And
yeah, we'll get some cool videos out.
And I'm pumped. Packer Max. I got my Packer Max called the Packer in. So we're going to be using that to put Big Time Food Plot seed in, which is
be looking good here.
Yeah, pretty killer. So shout out to Big Time code WCB 2022. Save yourself, I don't remember how much, but save yourself something at least if you're going to buy the stuff. Scent Crusher, the leader in ozone scent elimination technology, if you will, from gear bag to room clean. The room cleans are getting used the most, I think, for us right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Coming up, though, we have a lot of trips planned. And we're going to be able to utilize that coming up. Actually, I've been using it at home in the bathroom, not only for that, but like I know a lot of people use them in their front like mud room to kill germs. If you're worried about that type of thing, you can run that.
Well, I got the roller bag, and for some of the trips we're going, that would just be my luggage probably bag.
Yeah, I need to start doing that because actually I'm probably just going to start doing that for the remainder of the shows we got because we have Ohio.
When you just said that, I was like, I should do that. Why am I not doing that?
I don't know. I did for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Travel bags and stuff. It's just rolling luggage. Pretty awesome. Old Barn Taxidermy. Man, just got that coyote back.
Looks good.
Dropped off my mountain lion there. That coyote's amazing.
Yeah.
I got to get that hung up. It's hard to in the studio where to pick where you want to choose to hang everything. So you just want to make sure you get the right spot before you put a bunch of holes in.
Yeah, you don't want to put up it and then we got to move it and then more mounts and stuff. It's just, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Old Barn Taxidermy.
Ross's.
Leupold Optics.
Really good too.
We're actually giving away, at the upcoming trade show, CS, we're giving away an elite bow and some Leupold Optics, some 10x42s, some performance eyewear. Check that stuff out. I've been wearing my glasses a little more, so I need to get some prescription Leupolds.
Ooh, there you go.
Because I can't touch my eye because I'm a bitch, so I'm going to start figuring out how to use contacts. But until then, Leupold prescription sunglasses, because they offer that. You can do that.
Let's go get our eyes blasted, the lasers, and we'll see.
Just get LASIK?
Yep.
I know. I want to do that, to be honest with you. I got some new partnership announcements coming down the line, but it's not time yet. ThermaSeat coming up. The D-Wedge is going to be basically your ass's best friend when it comes to turkey.
Yes.
Our buddy Tyler's sitting in here in the studio and off a mic. We killed a bird a couple years ago off a D-Wedge. We tried to kill coyotes off them. Birds will die this turkey palooza off a ThermaSeat.
Yes, they will.
Guaranteed. I'm calling it. It's happening, Doug.
With a shotgun.
Maybe not me. Actually, I think I'm for one season, I'm getting out a shotgun. I'm just going to blast one in the head. I got the old jelly head.
I found the sticker and it literally says it is what it is. I'm going to slap it on my shotgun. So if someone can question me, I'll just think, it is what it is, brother.
talking with Mark Drury. So we have a lineup on Working Class on DeerCast, the Turkey OG series that's coming, which, by the way, shout out to Jordan Johnson at Combination Creative. I hit him up. I'm like, dude, you got to work some of your magic. We need an intro for this Turkey OG series for DeerCast. And I just got it today. So you guys will see, if you're listening to this in real time, I think this next week you'll see that on the first Turkey OG series podcast. And it's so fucking dope.
Dude, those turkey episodes are going to be amazing.
Money. Yeah, money. So Jordan killed that. So you can hit up Combination Creative if you need any video, logo work, anything like that, really. I think he'd probably make you full-blown commercials if you wanted. And Huntworth Camo. You going to rock Tarnin or Distortion?
Tarnin.
Tarnin's a great looking camo.
Yeah.
I like Distortion, though. Distortion, like, it's kind of, I don't know. They're both great looking patterns. Like this photo, I got my mule deer picture pulled up. That's Distortion. That's a good looking pattern.
Yeah, I like that. I like, I feel like that for turkey hunting in the timber, Tarnin's going to be looking good.
Yeah, Tarnin's going to be sweet. Chandler wants to get a ghost blind and kill a turkey out of a ghost blind.
So with a bow?
I don't think with whatever. I think if you wear like Tarnin and you have a ghost blind and a ThermaSeat in one, you get the trifecta kill. You're good from all angles. Anyway, Huntworth, man, doing some cool stuff. We're also giving away $500 in Huntworth camo at the trade shows if you come subscribe or buy some shit from us. Pull Back and Let Go. Dude, awesome clothing company out of Hayward, Wisconsin. Our good friends Jordan and Kelsey. They were down at the Iowa Classic and brought all their stuff. That's a good like company to hit the middle ground. So like if you're at the show, if you get away from your wife at a trade show and you're like, I got to buy her some shit to keep her happy when I'm gone, you have to go by the Pull Back and Let Go
That's the booth.
Because you can get something for you and your kids and your lady, and it's like shit she would actually wear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
their clothes are super nice.
Super nice, but
material
it's like
white and everything's perfect.
It's shit you'll want. Like, I don't know. They're basically going to start doing like changing rooms in their booth because the ladies want to come on and try. Like their stuff is awesome. It's quality stuff. Sam snagged some stuff up from them. And
oh dang!
If my wife is into actually shopping there, like it's like a little like man area, but also a boutique in a way. They got the right vibe. So check them out. Pull Back and Let Go. Tell them we sent you. We need to get a code set up with Pull Back.
I bought a sweatshirt from them too for
they're dope and their friend. Their flannels.
Yeah.
Chandler needs a signature flannel.
The Lord's
flannel.
The Lord's flannel.
But I think that does it for business. But man, that's a good story from the Iowa show. You have a veteran shout out?
I do. Of course, as always, they're brought to you by HHA USA. Check them out at hhausa.org. This people. One's brought to you by Michael Mcconry. He actually posts a lot in that group, the Working Class Boner group.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. The veteran is Michael Mcconry. He's in the Army National Guard in Vermont. Says, grew up hunting mainly deer and rabbits. Have 20 plus years in Vermont Army National Guard. Did a tour of duty in Afghanistan in 2010. Bought a Bowtech while overseas on overseas duty military discount. Started archery hunting in 2011. 2014 harvested a 203 Ohio whitetail with the same bow.
Wow.
Yeesh. The least prepared whitetail story ever. Very active in the QDM in my local community. Pay it forward each day with my job as a veteran outreach specialist. Oh, that's awesome. To those who have served in Afghanistan, don't feel that what you was for nothing. That was that's spelled. That was worded badly, Michael. That's your fault, not mine. Don't pick on me. You went there and succeeded in the mission you were handed. You could only do what was asked of you then. You come home to your families, hold your head high, and take pride in your mission accomplished, as always. So thanks for spinning that, Michael, and congrats on a 203.
Yeah, congrats on the buck, and thanks for your service, buddy.
Wowza.
Yeah, that's a good point with the Afghanistan situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a great... I won't go into detail, but thank you all for your service. Appreciate you, and thanks for submitting that, buddy. WorkingClassBowhunter.com, contact tab, veteran shout-out form. Submit it. Doug will get it, and we'll read it.
I'll read it.
Appreciate you guys.
As best I can.
Doug will do his best to read it. He's dumb.
I had someone, I think it was in PA, come up to me. He's like, hey, I saw someone say, like, you guys might just do the voice recordings and submissions. He's like, you should do that to me. And I was like, oh, damn, thanks, man.
We need to figure that out. Yeah, we definitely could do that. I just want it to be, I mean, should we do like a fancy intro and then just do the reading? Like, do we do like a jingle? What do you guys think? Should we get these more like boxed in where it's not Doug just reading them organically, or should we do like a fancy intro with some tunes on it, and then boom, here comes the recording, and then we move on? What I like about reading them is we can
laugh with along.
We get to kind of interact with it a little more.
I feel like some buddies though could give some real good shit talking if they just send a voicemail, like a voice message.
That might be more fun too. We can make them hit certain criteria, but also I feel like it could get abused. I feel like people are just not do veteran shout-outs and just talk shit to us.
True. They're just sneaking in like, yeah, you guys fucking
Maybe
suck.
we'll try it with Patreon members first.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good idea. That's what we do because we can trust them. They're family. Shout out to you if you're on Patreon.
Yeah. You guys are awesome.
All right. I think we need to get this episode. It's a crazy one. Whitetail Adrenaline. A lot of people in the studio. A lot of talking. It's also available in video on our YouTube channel. So get on there, subscribe, interact with us there. YouTube is one of those things where we haven't really pushed it too hard, but it's also like you either have it or you don't on YouTube, and we just don't have it on YouTube. Our YouTube just doesn't do too well. But also, we're not known for our YouTube channel, so what the fuck? So if you want to help us
someday we'll get on. We'll really go after it.
Just get on there and be like, Doug's mustache looks great.
We'll just make funny videos or something.
I think probably what I'm going to start doing is we should do some giveaways through YouTube comments just to kind of push that a little harder. Like we'll go through, like maybe do like for the next, here, I'll call it right now. So we'll do one for March, April, May. We'll do a different winner each month, and we'll do a surprise giveaway. And I'll pick from all the YouTube videos that were launched that month.
I like that.
So we'll pick a comment from each one as a winner. We'll just randomly draw. And it could be anything from working class swag to on one of our partners' gear. Do you think that's cool? We should probably do that?
We should do that.
Okay, we'll do that. So
we're doing it.
The next 3 months, if you guys are interacting on our YouTube, we'll pick someone out of the comments to win some shit. So thanks for supporting us. Here's the episode. Hope you guys enjoy.
One more thing.
What's up?
I was thinking, I think that girl in PA cursed me. That's why my tags aren't getting punched.
The witch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have banged her.
That's all we got. All right, see you guys later.
Enjoy the show.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
I'm Chase Rolfson with Rubline Marketing.
This is Jeff Lindsay. This is Michael Pitt. Hey, everybody, it's John Dudley from Knock on TV. Hey, guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Hi, I'm Taylor Drury from Drury Outdoors.
Hey, this is Nick Mutt from Bone Collector.
Hey, this is Melissa Buckman.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast. Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. You're listening to the Working Class Bow Hunter. That's right. This is the podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Nobody pushes the envelope like Working Class Bow Hunter.
It's really, really not that good. Working Class. Working Class.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast. It's already a shit show. We're having fun. We have myself, Kurt Geyer's here.
Ross Baker. Eric Hammond.
So that covers the Working Class Bow Hunter side. And we got the wild crew, the Whitetail Adrenaline boys in here. We'll start first with the man of the hour. I'm looking right at him right now.
Me.
You're the man of the hour.
Well, I am? Yeah. How did I get to be that? You guys draw numbers?
You're the man. Hey, that's why we put you in the middle.
Through Herd Bowl.
Is that how that works?
The man in the middle,
gotcha.
you know?
Hey, look behind you.
Well, thanks for having me.
I'm just a worker bee.
I got managers now looking over me. I mean, I'm not the man of the hour.
And then we might as well go because the worker bee.
The worker bee. I'm Tanner Dishong. I hunt with Jared Scheffler with Whitetail Adrenaline.
And we got the wild man of the jungle down there at the end of the table.
Jungle man.
We're just here to have a good time at all times.
I will cut grapevines with my broadhead or my hand clippers. Whatever.
Chancy's in here. Never said his name.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't
Okay,
either.
whatever.
Must be an inside joke thing. Yeah,
He's a jungle man. He's in the jungle.
Jungle man.
Always in the jungle. If you ain't in the jungle, you're where you ain't one need
Pull
to be.
Already pull that mic a little closer, Chancey.
Okay, right here, right now.
There it is.
Right
Get
there.
that up in there.
It's my first time in a studio, boy.
It is ever. Boys, there's some antler on the studio table right now. Like I think you
None
guys,
of it's mine, so I don't know how I got to be man of the hour because none of this is mine.
Well, I think we got the you guys set a record for what do we got here? We got
3 muleys.
3 muleys.
2 whitetails.
Name off the muleys, Tanner, because they're yours.
We got number 1 muley, number 2 muley, number 3 muley.
what are they,
Actually, in order, yes.
what are they scoring? What's what?
All right, well, we think they're 220, 197s down there.
Okay, and then you got a freak whitetail here. Is that yours, Chancey?
Yeah, that was from this season, which is a pretty cool hunt. And then that was this one here.
That whitetail?
From 2020 season.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
it'll be on the new DVD coming up that Jared's got going.
there you go.
Digital download, Chancy.
I like it. So let's talk about then. So
DVD couldn't handle all this.
so how long have you been doing Whitetail Adrenaline, Jared?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
And every year, like primarily, like you got DVD sales, merch sales is how you kind of like funded your operation.
Exactly, the whole way through, yeah.
So I think a lot of people that have been close followers of Whitetail Adrenaline are wondering, like, well, what's the future for Whitetail? Something's got to go on, right? To adapt, because there's a lot of people that don't have DVD players anymore.
Right, we're going digital.
So,
iTunes.
One of them.
So on iTunes.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
the people can just buy a whole season.
Buy it on iTunes. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only spot right now people can get it?
Yep.
Is there
Digital.
more plans?
I think Google Play has it now.
Okay. Is there any
Google
other
Play.
plans?
I don't know much about that. PR guy Paletta out there,
Yeah.
he would be able to answer that better. Maybe he shouldn't have left the room.
Let me ask you this, since we're getting into it here. Have you ever been approached by any like streaming services, any major networks to host your show?
Yeah. Yeah, Outdoor Channel a few years ago. Well, that was probably 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, they kind of entertained a couple ideas of different things. I got my way of doing things, and
so let me ask you this, because
I'm cut for a different path. I'll just say it like that. You know what I mean? And
you fit in with our crowd.
It's just the way that I am. And
so, did they ask you? Because I know that's like a pay to play type network. What did they were like? Hey, you can just get on the.
You know,
network.
we didn't get too serious. I never have allowed anything to get too
very
far down the road before I'm like, that's not going to work for me. Which I understand their perspective too. You know,
yeah.
And that was just real loose with I forget who from the Outdoor Channel. But it's just not
your mold.
Exactly. I like to go hunting and
do it his way.
Do it that way. And I just, I like the idea of the people actually purchasing the product and then me not having to sell
sponsor slots and shit.
It's really hard to go down the sponsored road with something like this without, especially 10, 15 years ago. It was a different world than compared to now. 15 years ago, like you really had to like turn your program into an infomercial. Companies are a lot better now, I think, with just supporting.
Yeah.
And
influence has changed.
Exactly. So it's changed it quite a bit there, but I'm not saying you can't do it. It's hard to do that without, for me, compromising who I am. Like, it's hard. That. Like, okay, if I'm going to use this, it has to be the best if I'm going to make people believe that, if I'm going to collect a paycheck and this is my sponsor, I have to actually believe it's the best.
100%. I get that.
Otherwise I'm going to have an issue with it for my own personal self.
You can't fake it.
Yeah, and then you enter a thing where if that company knows how you feel inside, then the paychecks ain't quite as steep. But then it's like, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I get that, how that works.
Well, and that too, like you've been doing it the last 15 years. It's been working.
Yeah.
Why change it?
Right.
And it's something different than everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Really is.
100%.
Right.
And that's where you have to, you're adapting to the digital times, right, with iTunes and Google Play. But how about like streaming services like a Carbon TV, a Waypoint?
Yeah. Carbon TV, they sent a couple emails. That was years ago.
Yeah.
All of those, it's like, well, how do I get, and then it goes down this muddy water road of how I'm going to get compensated. And I'm like, it doesn't really work like that for me. Like, I don't do this for fame.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, if I just wanted exposure, well, sure, that works great. And a lot of people, I think, I shouldn't say that, but some people maybe are okay with that, or they have independent wealth already.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, cool, I'll throw my stuff on wherever, and I'm fine being smaller over here.
Yeah, I got
and
you.
just carving a little,
I think kind of what you're getting, maybe you're not trying to say this exactly, but like you could be on Outdoor Channel or a streaming service. Anyone can watch your stuff, but they're not actually like you mentioned too. They're not directly buying your product. People who buy your product believe in what you do directly because they physically own a copy in some way, whether it's digital or physical, of Whitetail Adrenaline. They appreciate what you do, as in like they spent their money directly for you and not the network.
Right. And then in return, we get to hunt truly how we
want
to. There's no ties to it. We can truly show like
whatever you want.
Exactly. Like I don't think there's anybody out there in hunting that has more screw ups and mistakes on video than me. You're looking at him. The guy, you know what I mean? Like,
or honestly,
I get to show that. Video, I mean, if I had some sponsors, there'd probably be some that'd be like,
you got to hide under the rug.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, probably. I would assume. I don't like that.
No, nope.
Yeah, I get that.
Because then that's not honest.
Right.
Yeah,
I get that. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And rolling into like the new digital era of like this outdoor space, like were you ever at a point like, oh fuck, we got to make some changes a little bit? I mean, you had to be a little concerned, right?
I knew the day was going to come, and I mean our DVD sales have held strong all the way through, so we're blessed in that way. But it's like eventually that's going to phase out, right?
Yeah. Or have both options.
That was a bit challenging.
Yeah.
A few years ago when I started to look at it, it's like, okay, well, how do we keep it so one person doesn't buy it and then
copy it
and then it goes to 20, 30 people? Because I'm going to go do something else then.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I've already decided, like...
Do you think you'll still always produce DVDs until, like, nobody has a DVD player? Because there's something cool about... It's like having the book.
Yep.
It's like something cool about the hard copy
Since
of the book.
people have heard that we're moving to digital, there's been quite a bit of, like... I don't want to say pushback, but you better still have it in No, we're not going to give up the DVD market either. You know what I mean? We're not...
You're just branching out.
Yeah. We're going to still offer it in DVD until it obviously doesn't make sense to.
Because I don't know if you could tell, I'm a DVD guy.
Yeah. You got the biggest collection of all time.
Yeah. No, that's huge. It must be 1,000.
I don't know. I've never counted.
Hundreds.
Hey, there ain't nothing better than DVDs at a hunting camp. I mean, there's DVD
Which
players.
One you want to watch? Go through the bookshelf.
You're going to have a collection of DVDs at the hunting camp, and it's just what
cool.
people love.
Well, it's going to be a continuing thing because you're not going to have hunting camps with dish and sling. You're going to need that. Just throw the TV up and the DVD.
Watch that old DVD right here.
That's going to come. Yeah. That's going to still go for many years.
And you still have a little bit of the classic look because DVD is obviously not high def. It's kind of got that little bit of like you're going back in time. Look at
nostalgia.
Once we started looking at digital, I was like, we need to go back and remaster because we've been filming in HD for all these years. Since 08 season. We've been filming in HD, but obviously DVD's just standard def. So I was like, we need to go back and remaster, in HD, regrade, redo the audio, even make it better from all the things we've learned over the years. And then I was like, wait a minute. That kind of like actually degrades the like
quality of it.
The authenticity
of the old, like you're going back in time and the progression of everything and whatever. So I was like, maybe we don't do that. So I don't think we do.
I see your point. I think it's kind of like Chancy and Tanner. We were looking at the old like monster bucks in North America, from like 92, 93.
Where it all begun.
That makes that good.
Yeah, you pop that in. You don't want to see it super high quality. You kind of want to see it look like the day it was. The year was produced, I guess.
Right.
Brings us back to when we were kids.
Just so fresh, so nice. Yeah. So you guys had a killer season. If anyone follows you guys on social, which by the way,
killer 2 seasons actually. The last 2 that ain't out are. But go ahead.
Well, the last DVD you guys put out was awesome, phenomenal, killer job. Chancy, I think your hunt going in with the boat and losing the camera, like that was. One of my favorite hunts.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Of all time.
That was one like, hey, if this works out, this is going to be pretty cool. And I had the vision, like it worked out exactly like I like dreamed of working out, and it don't always happen that way. But that hunt was pretty special. I've dreamed to catch a deer in that spot. Me and Jared drove by there multiple times. Like, this would be cool. Obviously, that piece turned into public, and I was like, "Oh my, it's game on."
Yeah, and I think about 5 years ago is when it flipped over. It was private forever.
Yeah.
And the DNR bought it.
Oh,
yeah, the DNR bought it
because that's you were like, "Oh shit!" All them. We talked about this on the Drunken podcast.
The drunken one.
That was fun.
But we were all 2 sheets to the wind. But you kept mentioning James got water this time. We were talking about are you talking about the stop sign? You didn't see the stop sign.
Yeah. Matt's like, dude, I was like, that guy's stopping. I was so pissed off. I was like, man, he's going to stop. And this deer's going to, when you stop a vehicle of a deer, even whether they see him or not, that deer thinks that person's seeing him. You just can't stop and watch a big caliber deer like that. They're going to get giddy and move off or run off or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, he's stopping. I'm like, why is he stopping? And I peekabooed around the tree and there's a stop sign right there. I'm like, oh, okay, he's stopping. Well, that deer knew that there was a stop sign there because it didn't faze him. If there wasn't a stop sign there and he stopped for, they stopped a little bit longer than he should have.
Shit, if you would have, if you would have blew through the stop sign, they'd be like, hey, why isn't he stopping?
Exactly. Like, that was a rebel and he might sneak up and kill me.
Right.
Right.
It's funny, you guys are out in the middle of nowhere there. The guy was probably stopping to finish his beer, hit his one-hitter at the stop sign. Before he
probably 100%.
Very possible.
He's just finishing off and then
sun just went down.
I got off work. I'm going to finish this damn beer.
He's dropping through the rust.
That was a cool little spot, though. It was like a little tier. There's a creek, does a turn, and it leaves a gap maybe 40 yards in between the creek and the road. And it was like, if you catch one in this pocket and it comes through
here, bow range.
I'm like, if this is all, it was almost like it was one of them dreams, like, when you go to sleep and all of a sudden there's this whole field of deer sheds laying out there and you're picking them up. Has anybody ever had that dream? I've had that. I used to shed hunt.
Dream, Jared.
No, seriously. And I used to be a shed hunter and all that. I don't do it no more. But because everybody's everywhere, and I'm just not going to go hunt sheds that are already picked up. But so you know what I mean? Smart about it. But the crazy thing, I used to have these dreams where I'd be out in there in the field, and there'd be hundreds of sheds, and I was picking up like Easter egg hunt. Mm-hmm. And then I'd wake up, and it was never reality. But I just I dreamed to catch a deer in the spot, and it was reality. It was pretty cool.
You envisioned it.
And anybody that's seen that kill just falls in love and pumps you all the way. I mean, what a gratifying feeling there.
It was, what was crazy about that deal? Me and Matt, when we first seen him, we're driving, and I think it was the first night. I'm not 100% for sure.
When you first saw him, it was the first
night that me and Matt got together. We started at noon and started cruising around, and he was able to fly, or he was able to drive in. He brought the van in. We had a couple mechanical issues, got it going. We ended up deciding not to take the van because I wanted to take my truck to pull the boat, and ended up seeing that buck like midday, and I was like, or not midday, like afternoon, like 3 hours before dark is when we spotted him. Like, oh my God, that's what we were looking for right there. It's the biggest one I've seen on public. Why I've been wanting to, since I've been hunting public with Jared. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, that's a magnum, I'm like, it's time. But that night we could have maybe put an attempt to kill that deer that night, but I knew I didn't want to get too rammy because I knew that deer she just came into heat. It was like the late 20s in October. She just came into heat. There was a bunch of satellite bucks. I knew it was a fresh deal. He's going to be in that pocket for, it was a gamble whether he was or he wasn't, but I knew he was going to be in there at least 3 days. I was like, we could try to kill him tonight, but it's going to be too risky. I said, let's wait tomorrow. And anyway, the third day, I think after, and we ended up killing,
It's amazing.
Awesome. I'm glad that we were all quiet and let you kind of talk through that, because if you remember what the last time we get podcast, I think you tried to tell that story, but we're all 2 sheets to the wind.
She gets rowdy.
And then you never got around to telling the story, which is good.
Throughout the entire
He got it done.
That's right.
Which is kind of hilarious. I don't know. Maybe some people listen and really wanted to know the story.
Yeah.
But I think the podcast was just entertaining enough that nobody gave a fuck if you finished the story or not.
That was strictly fun. That was a fun night.
Wasn't
it?
Really was, yeah. Chancy, wasn't it right before that you did that public land you rattled him in on the ground down in some willows?
That was a different
No, that was the next day,
couple of days later,
day when he rattles in that Magnum, 215.
Yeah,
I was almost going to join your club.
Oh,
Chancy,
I should have.
You might have to be. It's not your fault. You might have to be uptight on that mic. I think we have a
right here. I might right here.
Yeah,
right
you
up
can hear
in
it
here.
Probably
get up in there and give it a little love.
Get in tight.
But Jiminy Christmas, dude, that was a wild. I mean, you rattled him in, and you were on the ground.
He talked about that buck an hour of the 2 or hours.
The footage I had to go through was like 2 hours at least of content of him just baby fitting. I mean, there was so much. It's like it's all great, but you know what I mean.
Well, here's the deal on that deer. It was one of those. It was another spot that I kind of like dreamed. Like we just knew that it was going to produce a big one in there. And I didn't know about the deer. I just knew that it had that vibe that I could potentially call up. And I just you get them instinct gut feelings. We went in there, rattled. I didn't want to go in too deep because there could still be one up in there. It got a little bit deeper, and that's when it happened. But I mean, things could have been a lot different. It would have been this cell phone right here.
That'll get
I'm telling you right now.
You heard the zipper.
You have to understand.
It's like a second or two after the zipper.
You have to. That deer. I literally had them. My Wrangler Walmart pants, the stretch fits, clean and mean. They're $22 at Walmart. I literally slid that phone in there. I was looking on Onyx to figure out where I was wanting to hunt. If you watch the DVD, it was a crazy deal. There's a lot of stuff that didn't get really filmed, in the heat of the battle and stuff. But I'm telling you right now, I slid that phone in there and I looked up like exactly where I figured what big one would come from, and there he was looking at me. And I didn't know he was that big because my eyesight's not good, and it was through the brush. I just knew he was big enough. I'm killing this thing if he comes in there.
Just a mess.
What happened is he seen my head move, and he knew. He seen the decoy. I already had the decoy set up. He knew when he seen that, he's like, "Oh, that must be the other buck." So now he's focused on our setup, and which is the worst thing you want, because now he knows. They're not like, "Oh, what's up?" They know exactly where they seen that movement. Yeah. He come down in there. He was just too much focus, and if I wouldn't have moved and messing with my phone, he would have killed that decoy, and we would have killed that too.
It's too bad you couldn't get that decoy to head shake or something.
Yeah, there was too much focus on me. He seen that one. He's like, "You know what? What is going on over there? I need to figure it out." And he just had too much alert over there. And
so I want to ask this, and if I'm intruding too much, I get like what you guys do is a little more fragile. Did you guys ever go back to the spot and try and find the deer?
You think we didn't?
Well, you had, but you don't see
that's human nature.
Well, right, of course.
No, that's why I asked. Was that a dumb question?
No, it was. Hey, trust me. We were all prepared. I was all prepared. Waited all year, sleepless nights, and we went out to that deer. No, seriously, we went out. I figured we were going to kill it. Me and Jarrett, we talked about it multiple times. I'm like, I'm going to kill this deer. Hopefully it all works out, but we're going to get an eye on this deer. Never heard no lingo of it getting shot. A deer of that caliber, you're going to know unless it got poached or it died naturally.
Yeah.
We never did see it the next year. I mean, we hunted our asses off. Yeah. And I'm like, if we hunted it hard enough that we were there all day long, every day for a week or two, if you don't get an eye on one, he's either moved or he's dead. From the the visuals we had that thing so dialed in on where this deer was. And I think, through the grapevine, different stories and different stuff like that, I think he ended up dying of a natural cause.
Oh, really?
Right as soon as he shed out is kind of what I'm thinking, what we kind of thought.
Yeah, somebody recognized the deer and sent you pictures and
found the sheds.
Oh, really?
But then the deer was never seen after that. And then the guy, he said that he found multiple bucks that were dead.
He died in between shedding and growing.
We knew something was going on because there's that one deer in the video that was all sick.
Yeah.
That he was petting.
Like an EHD.
That wasn't terribly far.
Tell him about that. That deer was so wild. If he seen a vehicle from a mile away, that thing was running over the mountains. And
now you're petting him.
So this deer...
you watch the video actually back, and it's like, I think it was about 10 days before that, you could tell that something wasn't quite right. He was like 80 yards out from the vehicle, and he was kind of looking, and I even made a comment. I'm like, he shouldn't be that
docile.
Yeah. I mean, it's rut. You never know.
Yeah. Midwest wild free range deer don't play that
like
game.
He was before.
Yeah.
Something's messed.
So he was degrading.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Sad deal. A beautiful deer.
Or something like that, probably.
I don't know. Something.
All I know is we came back the next year, and where we seen that deer, it was dead. Places where we seen 20, 30 does at a time, like you go out there in the morning and start glassing 20, 30 does, you'd lucky to see 2 or 3.
Yeah.
No kidding.
2 or 3. So something happened.
Whatever went on there scared them enough that they just moved on somewhere
else. Or they died.
Disease died.
It was Chancy's phone.
That's what
they did.
They saw the video. They must have DVD players.
Samsung 9.
I mean, we got to get the hell out of here before next season.
Deer are just now getting DVD players. It's rough.
That's why we're switching to digital.
We're going to give them a chance. We're going to continue.
They just graduated from VHS,
Deer are just now getting to like 2003. They're like Blu-ray. Fucking sick.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm glad. All right, I was just curious about that. Yeah, the deer was weird. That was real weird, but that makes sense, right? Like something happened. But so I, for the record, even though it might have seemed like a dumb question, Eric, it did get me to the point of where we're at right now in this podcast. So what I want to talk about, going forward, unless I'm skipping over some stuff, I want to talk about Tanner's mule deer run.
Yeah, let's do it.
If we want to call it the Just for Fun Muleys.
Just for Fun Muleys.
Muley Magnus.
Every one of the muleys on this table was also good for whitetail. I mean, to start that off.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, that's where the roots are.
Okay.
Truthfully.
Well, Tanner, I think we should go back even a little further. Let's go back a little further, just a little bit. Because the first time we met you was at Iowa last year?
Yeah, Iowa Classic.
Yep. It feels like we've known you for a lot longer, and same with like Brant, PR Paletta, and
His
Chancy.
face is all over IG.
Yeah. He's just a newfound face.
Got that face for radio,
So that's the first time we met you, and we kind of talked about how you guys met at one of the shows. Well, was it the Iowa show?
Well, we'll get into that. We should get into that a little bit.
Well, do we get into that first?
Let's do that.
Okay,
let's do that first.
Because
I guess
get
that out of the way.
Yeah, we got to get the meeting and greeting under control before we get to this.
Actually, Tanner tells it the best, I think, and then
I don't know. I really don't.
I was just zoned out.
Everybody is at that point. Those shows are drooling. I mean, it will zone any man out.
So it's Harrisburg is what you guys are getting to.
Well, that's one of them, yeah. But nobody, everybody just goes through the motion at that point. I mean, we love what we do, but a lot of pressure and things go on at that time. But my first experience with these two gentlemen here, Jared with Whitetail Adrenaline, it is Chancy. I sent Jared a message on. I'm probably going way too in deep with this, but
didn't get it.
I sent Jared. Yeah, Jared didn't get the message, obviously. So I started sending Chancy my kills from like 2018. Let's say, I don't even know what year it was, but I was like, bang, bang, bang. I was traveling out west. I'm like, here, look at this shit. Like, come on, man, let me in.
He's just.
I was casting. I tried him first. That didn't work, so I went to him. And he's
never replied to any of my messages either.
Damn right, he's
too busy.
He still hasn't replied.
Hey, he hasn't even looked at it.
That's fine. But so Chance,
still love
Chance, he started recognizing, hell, this dude's killing a lot of shit. And I was.
You were.
I was. So Chance,
especially in out in the junk. I mean, middle of
a lot of public land. I live in Pennsylvania, and I was traveling fucking 25 hours. 25 hours to kill this stuff.
Shit.
I'm kind of now just joking.
Relax, dude.
But so I started sending Chancy all my kills, and so I thought that Chancy would show Jared this stuff, but that was not the case. It come a couple years later that I found out that wasn't the case, because I really thought there's no doubt that Chancy's not showing Jared this. I mean, how could you not?
I would if you said, "Hey, Jared, show Jared this stuff." I'm here right now.
I'll kill $4 a month. I mean, come on. So anyways, I would have thought, because Chancy recognized it. Chancy texted me back or messaged me on Facebook, because that's the only way to do it at that point when you're craving the thing, right? So Chancy's like, dude, that's awesome. You're killing it. Good job, man. So I'm like, fuck yeah, he showed Jared. I'm in. I'm already in, right? So I walk up. I walk up to Scheffler, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm the one that kills all them big bucks.
You know who I am?
Jared's like, yeah, cool.
He looks over and goes, oh, you're that guy. Never heard a thing from Chancy. That's just the way they roll, which is the same way I would roll now, right?
Jared's probably heard that at least 14,000 times.
So no, maybe not to that degree. Not to that degree.
I gotta mess with a guy a little bit.
So Tanner,
you're that guy.
Every guy that's been messaging you all his big buck kills, thinking you're going to show Jared's going, fuck.
Exactly. It does not work that way.
Hey, I've been trying for years.
I'm not even going to tell you the secret. There is one. And it's women, but that's beside.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Hey, check out my old lady.
No, not like that. But it was pretty funny. And then I will never forget So I come at Jared like, I'm the one who kills all the big bucks. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I said maybe a comment like, you going to come to PA and hunt? Kind of maybe a little bit like the same way I said, kill the big buck. And he goes, yeah, and I'm going to use a flintlock. And he pointed it at my head. He goes, yeah, I'm going to use a flintlock. So I was like, all right.
I can't help it. You walk up to the booth and you got to smile like that, kind of like, saying that. I can't help it. I gotta come back.
And
this guy's cracking me
up. It was a good comeback.
At that point, Tater's just like, yeah, I'll go fuck off in the corner.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I going to do?
He laughed, and I was like, I like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
I'm checking him, I'm checking him. Where,
Nothing ever arose from that. I mean, that's just everybody, But then I met him in Des Moines, and then quickly I figured, well, hey, this dude's been talking about deer for 9 months. It's time we talk about something else. So I just asked him how the women was doing, and all of a sudden...
No, he said, I bet you're sick of talking
we were full tilt
hunting.
strut then. We were full tilt. I mean, we were hunting. I mean, I was single, ready to mingle. I mean, you were hunting.
You were...
I mean, we were...
Hey, it's pussy season, boys.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was, we were on the dance floor, on the strut zone, rut, full tilt, whatever. I mean, we were having a good time. I mean, we were young rascals, man. A few years ago,
but it turned into the mysterious women actually got me into Jared Scheffler's company. I guess you would say.
Jared Scheffler's
I couldn't help but smile when he said that. He said it, but I bet you're sick of talking. You probably talk about women or something, and I smiled. I was like, "Oh, you're right."
There's yeah. I mean, we'll hunt tonight.
We didn't actually. I mean, that was all it really was.
That was all it was.
I was like, okay, he understands.
All that gave him was, I guess, that I was a killer and whatever. I'm not going to proclaim that, but he was just like, but yet he's cool enough to go somewhere else real quick. Because you have to in this game. You cannot, for 120 days, you talk about deer, you're going to lose your dang brain, dude.
You know what? That's so true.
You put down the flintlock and grab the slingshots. You guys,
there is something to that a little bit. Because, when you're at the trade shows, of course, you want to talk hunting and stuff, but, we talk about hunting more than anybody probably with the podcast and stuff. And we love talking hunting. It's so fun like we're doing now. When you're at the trade shows and you just get blasted with it, it's nice. And someone brings up something else, kind of hits you from the side.
You got to hit them from the side. And Chancy actually taught me that, but we're not going to go to the reason why.
That's a secret.
I love when I said pussy season, Tanner came unglued. Did you see that though?
Yeah.
You were like, oh my God.
Boom, boom.
Hey, listen, we're not an outdoor channel, man. We can do whatever we want.
No, not trying to be.
Jared? Hey, we're all human. We're all human here.
Hey,
I mean, you know what I mean? How do you think we are existing here? A couple people got jiggy, and here we are.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You just think outside the box and go explore some shit, and then all of a sudden, boom, bang, bang.
Here we are. What's up? So, does this lead us in? So, at what point you start talking about the ladies? Jared's like, okay,
that was really it. We didn't really go into talking about ladies after that. It was just he made that one comment, and I smiled.
And that's all it took.
So I loved his energy, though. It was a Sunday, and I loved his energy, and I was like,
I was from PA. I drove 13 hours just to shed hunt. Just to shed hunt Iowa, right? And that's how I met him. I'm like, well, I might as well swing in.
Oh, you went out there to
shed
hunt?
In the classic.
I might as well swing in and give it another run.
That's exactly it. Exactly it. And I had the same mindset and concept as I did every other time.
Yeah.
It's just I read the writing on the wall like, dude, this dude is going to freak out if I show him a picture on my phone.
Jared's like,
deer, right? Yeah. Like, he's to that point, like, oh my God, like, you got to think. Harrisburg, 9 days of that shit.
Oh, you wouldn't believe how many camera pictures.
And it's not that we don't enjoy it. We do. I'm not trying to, disclaim that, but I knew at the time, I needed to do that. And then bang.
Jared's
light switch went off. We can be buddies outside of hunting.
So how long, once you made that connection and you were kind of a familiar face at this point, how long before, and you don't have to get in all the details, but there had to have been a conversation when, Jared, you were like, all right, dude, you're in. Let's go hunting this year.
Well, I kind of knew it. That was 5 minutes leading up until I was thinking in my head. I was like, man, I'm wore out, but this guy, I love his energy, and I can tell that he's a hunter. He knows what he's doing. He ain't just saying all the right things. He's living it.
And I remember Jared I remember you even telling me like, yeah, I know this guy, he's out there, he's killing some big, and like, this kid's the real deal. And I remember you just kind of briefly talking about it. I'm like, and I didn't put two and two together, obviously. I remember 100 mile an hour, dude. Yeah. I mean, I got 1,000 things going on. And he's like, he told me about, I was like, really? And he showed me, I'm like, God damn, the Magnum. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and that's, I mean, that was pretty cool.
I might think about calling the cops. You see him in PA, you see him in Iowa. What other shows did you see him at? He's just following you around.
Dude, I hope
Nah, really, it wasn't like that.
I know. I'm just
I couldn't have picked him out of a crowd before that Sunday in Iowa. But I'm like, you know what I mean? You talk to so many, no offense, but I mean, I was drinking quite a bit in Pennsylvania. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you gotta keep your sanity. What's up?
No, it was nothing wrong with it. It was funny.
Hey, none of us do that.
Bush Light be all right.
So this leads into Tanner being on the crew.
Yeah.
He's just the smooth Italian that he is.
Those short little Italian smooth talk.
Hey, I go over the fences, he goes under.
That's right. And we'll kill him either way.
You remind me.
That sounds.
Tanner, for some reason, reminds me.
Well, obviously it's easy.
Not public.
Well, it's public. There's a lot of fences on public.
There is.
Yeah,
there is.
Tanner reminds me of Joey from Friends, but like an intelligent version.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Dude,
Joey's very intelligent.
Charismatic.
But anyways, yes, I got brought on.
So you rolled in.
Supposedly. Yeah.
Okay. So
we had a lot of fun.
So this rolls into mule deer.
No, it didn't at first. I mean,
well, not on purpose.
No, like I said, everything on this table was with a whitetail tag also. So
a deer tag,
general deer tag.
Well, yeah, for either or.
Or.
And it just so happened I seen the right muley for the day, and we went after it.
For the day.
And then, Jared said, "You know what? Listen, you kill 3 world-class muleys in 8 days." You can come and party with it. And he's like, day 7, here we are. We got them all.
But here, I got kind of piggybacked. I did. Because the day that I kind of damn near started, he's like, well, yeah, we can shoot mule deer. Well, okay, cool. Because I've seen a couple.
Yeah, Whitetail Adrenaline mule deer.
Yeah, Whitetail Adrenaline.
I did open up that door.
Yeah, you're like, you can shoot a mule deer if he's good. Well, good.
Big deer are interesting no matter what.
Yeah,
they are.
They are interesting. I'm cool with either flavor.
I don't feel like Jared agreed with me just now.
What's that? Sorry.
Big deer are interesting no matter what. Big antlers are just interesting.
For sure.
They
Sorry,
are.
I
said it and Jared looked at me like, I know they're not.
No, I was up with Jared.
Whitetail Adrenaline.
Jared just hates
we can get on the line. We can get on the line that mule deer are stupider than whitetail. We can do that.
Probably.
I'm cool with that.
Probably.
Yeah, we can. We'll discover some things that not all the cases that is true.
Yeah. Of course.
But then the second thing is the first time I entered his house, he's like, hey man, you can go uncuffed if you want. I'm like,
okay, so what's uncuffed?
Hold on, you just dropped it to the world.
Okay.
Hey, that's supposed to be top secret.
Oh shit. No, wait.
I wish.
You want to know the truth? I was going to ask that question.
If we went
off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Have it on my nose.
Shit.
So okay, we put up.
No, I'm sorry.
You totally blew it. Tanner discloses to the world. It was going to come out in this podcast anyway.
I was gonna ask it.
I know you. Oh, so you got prepped on this.
Hey, you're dealing
I got
to
know where my PR guy is.
Strictly business, right?
Hey.
There's only about 6 people that know it.
Well, let's talk about
and have known it. I kept it completely quiet.
So we better talk about it now, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
First of all, let's talk. What does uncuffed mean?
So actually, it was 2017 season of the ride, and I got it on video.
Okay,
and it's in the ride video, which is a long video. Maybe I'll grab the little clip so people don't have to go through 10 hours to find it. But we're in the vehicle. We're having a pretty tough hunt. I mean, it was Iowa, and it was the worst I'd seen it in a long time. I mean, we were about 2 weeks in or 10 days in. Couldn't even get on a 140. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like, you should be able to get on a 140.
You wouldn't even see a 140 on private. So even just driving, oh wow, there's a 140 over there in private.
You're driving by public. You're you're driving by a lot of private. You're just looking. When you're in the deer, you know what I mean. In the zone, but you're always looking.
Yeah, you're always looking.
But I mean, we ended up first 140 we got on was hour and a half, 2 hours away, and turned out it was a refuge that was unmarked. But we won't go down that rabbit hole. That's all in the video.
DNR.
I couldn't remember if it was before or after that, but you brought
put signs up. You're going to piss me off.
I don't have no respect for that DNR, by the way, that particular guy. Anyways, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
This is so chaotic for Ross. Ross is such an organized guy that Ross is just like, man, this is wild.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. How would you like to have a DNR provided map, public, and then no signs up, and then
this is all public, but
you're not gonna feel real good about the guy wearing the conservation badge. Like, okay, no, you actually don't give a shit about conservation. Here's the proof.
Okay, abracadabra.
That's all I got to say about that. So, anyways, we're riding in the vehicle, and Chancy brings up something about Uncuffed, and I was like, what do you mean uncuffed? You know, Chancy's got all this lingo.
So he's got some words.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, wrap my head around. I think I know what you mean. What do you mean? You know,
you just need to let me go uncuffed.
Like, you know, like if we see a big, you know how Chancy gets, he gets all like, you know, like animated. If we seen a big one and I could go door knock, I could go knock on the door and get permission. If we open that up as an option, and I was like, maybe we should do that someday. You know,
it was one of them years. You know, it's getting tough.
Years. That's the first time that I actually
entertained the idea.
And really, it stems back to when Jim and I started this. My cousin Jim. You know, we started out with it, and our initial plan was to do the all public land series and then launch another by permission series. Just knock on door stuff that didn't require money and leases and all that, because we really wanted to show people, you know,
you can do
what you could do on public if that's all your only option, or you don't have a lot of money, or you don't want to, you know, do that. That was the original plan, was to have an all public land series and then a by permission series and keep them split.
That's cool idea.
But then it's really hard to, we found out after a couple, 3 seasons, it's like, well, you know, we just strictly focus on the all public, and it was like, that's going to be really hard to do a completely separate series on that. Like, we got our hands full just trying to do an all public land series.
For sure. Yeah.
So I hadn't really thought about it since until Chancy mentioned it in 2017. Well, then it took 3 years before I was like, all right, I'll open it up, but you can't.
Stipulations.
There's stipulations. Like, it ain't your buddy's ground. It's got to be. It's got to be ground that you don't know this person.
Yeah, right.
You roll up. The hunt's got to be going terrible. It's got to start out on public.
Yeah, straight Jehovah's Witness style.
It's got to be going.
Exactly.
That's what you should call
it. JW. Don't be fool.
JW style. We get in there.
But to be honest, if you back up, I mean, guys have been doing it for a long time.
This is
an American way.
This is a new. This isn't a new thing.
Like hunting public is one thing, but gaining permission on private property is a whole nother. Right in the same, it's right there. And people have been doing it for a long time.
Yes.
That's how we all started out, to tell the truth.
That's how
everybody started out.
And so I put these stipulations in where it's like,
can't know
door knock. Yeah, you can't know them. You can't, I mean, if you got permission the year before and you didn't know them then, I'm not opposed to like, maybe the next year if the hunt's going tough or whatever. But it was like, okay, you got to either be having a pretty tough public land hunt or spot something that you're like,
I got a
giant.
200 incher.
Yeah.
So what excites me about this conversation, Jared, is, right now it's weird. And let me say what I got to say, because then I want to get your opinion on it too a little bit.
For sure.
So we hunt little public. The public we hunt's mostly Western states, right? Like when we go to Colorado, South Dakota, Wyoming, those states, we hunt public a lot. And the public following is almost how do I explain it? They're like just almost too rigid to their public to fault in a way. Like, and not all of them are, but a lot of them are like, if you don't hunt public, fuck you. And fuck
I don't like
your high fence deer. And you're a piece of shit if you got a lease because you spent money and I don't have money. And so, but what we've always talked about from our perspective is, like, I've had leases. Now I don't. I hunt all permission pieces that I've like exchanged work for permission, or it's been like, hey, when you're not hunting, can I hunt, or can I do this to hunt?
Yeah.
And so, and we always said, hunting private and hunting permission pieces because you're boxed into an area, it takes a different set of skills versus the guy who pushes deer around on 20,000 acres.
Right.
And then just, I bumped those deer. I'll just go find more deer. The skill sets for both of those scenarios are different.
Correct.
That's right.
And you do agree that, like, some of the public strictly public guys kind of get annoying.
Oh yeah, no,
right. That's why he didn't want to go down.
I don't want to be grouped in with. First of all, I'm kind of different altogether. Just human being as it is. You know what I mean. And it's fine or whatever. But I don't like being grouped into that.
Well, to give you credit, Jared, before you go on, to give you credit, you guys have always boxed yourself out of the annoying public land guy.
True.
Guys, I don't feel like you guys have ever been categorized with the annoying public land dudes. And so when you guys say uncuffed, I worry that the annoying public land dudes, which could be a big chunk of your demographic, might give you some shit about this.
I don't really care.
So this is what I just wanted to say.
I don't. And
because I think this is good for you to talk through it.
When my cousin Jim and I, when we decided to do the all public land series, it wasn't to boost our egos and prove something to other people. We grew up hunting a lot of public land.
It's cool too.
And there literally wasn't hardly anything you could find out there at that time. You go back 15 years ago, there wasn't anything hardly out there. It was very hard to find anything. And it was like, I was hunting for a 5-year period, hunting mainly private ground, which I had permission, not lease or anything.
Yeah.
But I really got bored of it. It had no mystery. It had no adventure to it. So we didn't start this public land series out to prove something to people.
Yeah. Right.
And I thought about that more recently because I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that come through this measuring contest.
And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
Truthfully.
Yeah, because people want to turn something into a measuring contest, right?
Yeah.
With everything in life.
15 years ago, it was inches of deer and then this and that. And I don't even, it's like, it's personal satisfaction. Like, do I know that it's more challenging in some ways to kill a public land deer, generally speaking? Yeah. But that's for my own personal satisfaction. If I kill a deer on public, it's not to take it over here and degrade this guy or belittle this guy because, it's like,
you don't give
it's
a
America.
shit what Tom, Dick, and Harry's
If you want to own 1,000 acres and that's your dream and that's what you want to do, go do that. I don't care. I'm not going to belittle you for doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I know that taking a deer on public, generally speaking, is more challenging in some ways, but not for, it's wrong of me to go take that to this person and try to turn it into this, I'm better than you or whatever. Right. It's like, and I know what you mean because you see the OTC stuff and the DIY, the big over the topness of it. And it's cool. It's like, keep that for yourself.
For sure.
And we're all here for the same reason.
So, exactly.
Like, have fun.
It's just
hunting is
fun. Ain't having fun. I ain't doing.
Just relax, take it down a notch. Like, so I don't, what other people want to think about this uncuffed. We had the 2 best public land seasons we've had the last 2 years. We were 1 kill short last year. Not this last season, the season before. The first season we went uncuffed. We were Reckoning is the all-time best, but I don't.
They're not documented as well.
They're not documented as well, and I think 1 or 2 were off camera. So we almost tied the record of public land, and then last year we did tie it with public land. So we still had, because we go into the hunt like public's our main focus here.
Yeah,
in unique scenarios and situations. We open up now the uncuffed.
Yeah, don't get the wrong idea. Only a few of these are killed uncuffed.
And that's why
most better than 50% of these animals. I'm not going to disclose which
way
ones.
Better,
that's for the video.
Better.
But our public.
Yeah.
These ain't just a bunch of uncuffed deer here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all excited. Let's go uncuffed. I ain't seen one uncuffed. I shot all mine on public.
And to be fair, the amount of time from the time the permission got to the time the animal was dead is probably an hour or 2. Phone calls both times. I gave it away. 2 out of 3.
No, but it is true. It's a very quick deal, and I mean, it actually is. I don't want to get in depth with that, but
that's a feather in your hat, though. When you have that option, and you can knock on that door or make that phone call, and then you go in there and you kill him,
right?
The thing with uncuffed is,
and it's all documented. We're showing that whole process,
everything.
Everything. And that was one of my other stipulations. Like, if you're going uncuffed, it needs to be documented.
So that's why I wanted to ask, say what I said and then ask the questions the way I did, because I just know how people are, and I didn't want someone to come at an angle at you. So, but I think it's fair because, like what I just said to Ross, it's anybody has that ability,
right?
Yep.
And I always say this is like, we need to make a T-shirt, Eric. Big bucks take effort. And whether it's effort on public, whether it's uncuffed effort, whether it's you want to get a lease and earn your hard-earned money to pay for the lease, big bucks take effort somewhere.
Yep.
Right. And then 2, you can't kill a big buck if your wife sucks. So that's got to be a shirt.
I like that.
And that's
true. That is
But
TV. Totally.
But honestly, though, Jared's way of going about it takes a lot of effort away. I mean, that's the cover and ground and this and that, the tactics to it.
Yeah, I mean, you have hunts where you definitely have, we've had them before. I mean, it was a few years ago, you had 18 days of hunting hard, even how we hunt on the ground aggressively, covering ground.
They like the dark drive and cover.
It was still 18 days before you finally cracked a big one.
Well, it took me, me 22, 21 before I killed my first animal for him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other...
He's probably like,
there's some misses and things.
Why the hell did we bring this guy
There's
on?
a lot of the comparison.
No, it's actually great. It's a great lead up to him because obviously he's been dropping a lot, but you get to see this what
Yeah, what is he doing,
so,
man?
So I think this rolls in back to Tanner on the Just for Fun Muleys, which I think is a good fun,
it is. It's
motto.
Truthfully what it was. I mean, never once did I go into that 100% mule deer. Mm-hmm. Never on any of them. It just happened.
Have you killed mule deer prior to these?
I think one in my life.
The year before.
The year before. But yeah, that was it for the mule deer. I mean, it was.
I think he's got it figured out.
There's a mule deer story right there. Yeah, he's got it figured out, and they were just for fun.
They were.
Wow, there's a muley. Let's go get it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
End of story on all these mules.
Yeah, that's it. They were just for fun.
Yeah, didn't you guys check into this? I don't know. I crashed out, but I think this is the number 4 or number 5.
Number 4 with a bow in the state. Typical.
Oh, in the state.
In the typical, yeah.
Of state of Mexico, right? You shot in Mexico?
Hawaii.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing we got to watch. We can't disclose everything.
Well,
we'll give you some, but we can't disclose all states or tactics.
Well, then we'll leave the mule deer stories to there because the next question I had in my queue, my brain here is at what point. It kind of goes to the whole, I don't know if you guys heard the Matt Ranella debacle, which I think there's a conspiracy theory there. I think he stirred it up on purpose with Steve to get all eyes on Meat Eater, if you want to know the truth. But I don't know if we all agree with that or not. But hey, that's just what I think after the whole thing settled down. But at what point does the public land thing get so crowded to where it's you guys got to go to the drawing board?
Well,
we looked at that a couple 3 years. That was one of the determining factors for me. I seen, well, what's cool about it, I'm going to share a couple perspectives here. When we started out this public land series, the mentality on public land was very negative. It was very negative. I lost my private ground. It was this negative type. The hunters were approaching public with a negative mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I started. That's all I got, and it was like a victim mentality type,
right?
Way about it. So that totally shifted over a 10-year period. Okay, to where public land began to be this cool,
ego thing.
Which, for some, and I've met many that just look at it positively, but don't take that to compare to others.
But is public land attitude the I hunt public tough guy thing kind of stem from it being all I got's public to I killed it on public?
Yes, it does.
Kind of. It gets a little muddy in there, but then along with that. With the times of people, it harder to get or afford or whatever private ground, and then the mentality shift, the positive mentality. I've had many guys that have private ground to hunt, and they just really enjoy the freedom of public land and doing that, and that's cool. You've seen this uprise over the last 3, 4, 5 years in public land. In waves.
Yeah.
And so I didn't actually listen to what you talked about with Matt. But
I didn't talk to Matt Jury. Matt was on Steve Ranella's podcast, and it was. Oh, you didn't listen to what I mentioned. I got you.
Well, I didn't actually hear it. I didn't listen to it. Somebody told me about it, and then
it's not worth.
I think you mentioned it.
It's not worth.
And so who knows? What I know is I did it for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. Right. I've never taken $1 from any company for a sponsorship or anything, and I did it for the right. I know the reasons why Jim and I started out doing this.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to allow that opinion to come in. You know, I'm not going to dictate how I feel based off of this guy. Right. Exactly. Well, now, if he said something that I had to actually check my, you know, or any individual says something that it makes me think, like, is that actually true? And then it's like, okay, if I did it for the wrong reasons, maybe I got to make a shift or an adjustment there. Sure, I can get around that. But if I'm not going to allow that to dictate how I feel about me or what I've done with the company or what we've done.
I believe he was a little out of pocket with a lot of things he said. Like, he's a hypocrite in my opinion. He basically said he would tell you, this is what I gather. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I wrap my head around it. So he would have said, you're in the wrong because you're making money off hunting the public lands for your DVD sales. And you're bad for an influencer, and you exploited spots because you're hunting public, and it made everybody want to go hunt public.
I don't even exploit the states anymore.
Right.
I couldn't pick that guy out of a crowd of two, dude. Who are you talking about?
Hey.
I don't know. I
don't give a shit about what Meat Eater does because we're just doing our thing, and I don't care what anybody else does. But that's what essentially the conversation was. Now, do I agree with some of what he said? Yes. Do I disagree with a lot of what he said? Yes. I don't always agree with Steve Ornella, but I do think he's a great spokesperson.
I think he's brought a lot of great things too. Yeah. The Meat Eater series and everything. There's no denying that. I think there's been a lot of good there. So and like I said, I didn't hear any. I didn't listen to it.
It's not worth it. I got a lot of questions for both those guys, but we're not talking about that right now. But I think it's just important for you to kind of clarify too, and that's what's great about the podcast and law informed conversation is like, especially the Uncuffed thing. Like, there's gonna be a couple dudes. That are gonna
many.
Well, they're going to be the measuring, which I don't really care.
Who cares?
You know, it's like, okay, well, we still had our back to back our best public land seasons all together.
Right.
You know, back to back. I mean, sheer encounters on public and document it, like that is still the roots of what we do.
Yeah.
We're not changing it, but we're showing people another opportunity, which will hopefully actually alleviate some of the public lands too.
And it will. You know?
It will
for sure. Well, Jared,
it will.
Anybody can say what they want about the public land game. Like, at this point in the modern era of hunters, like, you know, because it's, you know, we have our generation of hunters we look up to, right? But like, then there's the next gen. You know who it is? Jared, you're like the godfather of that gen.
You are.
This whole crew.
You are.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mean just these guys. I mean, we have a phenomenal crew, whether it's Brandon out there.
Yeah, PR Paletta.
Or, you know, Ethan.
Running the camera.
Running around with you.
Yep.
Yeah. Matty Z.
They're unbelievable.
TC. You know, Andy in the edit. I mean, we've got
your crew's
great crew.
Notch,
I mean, we got a lot of things we're doing with the post production. Obviously, that's probably another question that you've got that's on the list. But but we've got, you know, our head wrapped around that to where we got some very exciting things for the future there. But we won't go down that.
Yeah. But I had to give you some credit without jerking you too hard, but just tell you that, like, I mean, you are, man, more than you guys are humble dudes. But to just give credit where credit's due, it's like for a lot of these guys and kids that are looking up to doing the public thing or the permission thing or they're hunting private. I mean, dude, your DVDs stand out from the rest of the game because the way you've done it, you've kind of gone on your own, like.
And they always have.
Yeah, always have. That's kind of your vibe. So, dude, you're just killing it. I think it's awesome to see. Honestly, it's kind of hard. Like, Eric, I know you probably feel the same way, man. Like, you were one of the first big guys to do our podcast on like episode 15 or something.
Right.
Yeah,
and now
you're
in our studio.
We were like fucking so excited to get you on.
I actually remember cracking a cold when you were on the podcast.
You cracked a Yingling.
I think you guys cracked one, or I heard it, or you mentioned something. But I remember where I was in the kitchen grabbing one out of the fridge.
Yeah. But for us, it's cool. But, you know, and to call you guys friends and stuff is, you know, even cooler. But. And it's cool that you're actually cool because there's a chance you could have just been a straight douchebag.
That's true.
But, you know, I mean, for a lot of guys, dude, you're like the godfather of you're like the modern public land pioneer.
You're on the top tier.
Really. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it, you know, so.
I mean, the one thing that I really want, you know, other hunters, whether it's youth or whatever, is like, don't use us to measure yourself and to compare it, because it's a never-ending road to misery for yourself.
Don't use anyone to measure yourself.
None of these racks up here on this table are mine. It's these two, right?
Well, that explains it right there.
If I compared myself to what these two have done or last few years, I'd feel like a shitty hunter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Don't do it.
You can't. You don't measure yourself.
But the way me and him feel about him would blow your effing mind.
Exactly.
He's. Yeah. The Ninja Cherokee of all time.
Right. You know? Well, you know what that shows right there? That shows like that you're in the right crew because in our crew at Working Class, I look at Ross and Austin like a different way than, you know what I mean? Like these guys have done things in the whitetail game that like we're still striving to do.
Sure.
But I know that they probably look at us and admire us for something in a different way besides whitetails.
Right.
So we're giving you credit here, Ross. Like Ross has got 3 whitetails over 200 inches.
That's amazing.
There's not a lot of guys out there that have.
Yeah, do the math. I mean, free range magnums. I mean, the luck even see 3.
Yeah.
Like this is like, oh wow, there's one on the half-mile fence line. I mean, to see him.
Yeah. I'd rather not. I'd rather just let's just
let
lay
him
low
come
here.
through and let me kill him.
That's what Ross is. Just let's not talk about me.
Yeah, you don't want to see him to believe him. You just want him to come through and then let's measure him once he's dead. That's way funner.
Yeah, Ross isn't big. When he starts throwing up 200 inches, Ross is like, "Hey, let's calm down a little bit."
He closes them out when he sees them.
Yeah, because if he's 197, I don't want to be disappointed. It's not serious. That's why I don't like putting a number on. I throw numbers around.
I'm right there with you, dude. Because I had one a couple years ago that I fell in love with. I've been fortunate enough to hunt on some family ground and private property that I've watched this deer go. I passed him, year after year, and watched him grow up. And I thought, man, this is the one. And then had an opportunity at him, and I missed him at 55, and that was the closest I got to him that year. And he was 52 yards, and I missed him. He ended up getting shot right after that, and I was like, this is a 200. Like, he's huge. He's a monster. He's Oscar. Like, I've named this deer since he was 3 years old.
I remember Oscar.
Anyway, Oscar gets shot, and he went 192 and 5/8. So, I thought he was going to go 2, but why, like you're saying, Jared, why are we putting a number on it? Well, it doesn't matter.
Whatever turns you on.
I was in love with that deer.
It depletes the experience when you put a number on it.
Similar thing happened to me back in 06. I shot a big buck. I thought he was going to go in the 180s before I shot him. Then I shot him, and he went high 60s, but he was still a way cool deer. The biggest deer I ever shot. It totally ruined it for me because I had that number in my head.
Yeah. Right.
So I never scored another one until I shot that giant in 2015. Never put a tape to another one.
None of them.
But I love to hear you say that, Jared.
And then, like, Tanner shot this one this year. And, we went out of our way to not take one measurement for 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
And even when we took that inside spread measurement, there was that slight little, I could feel it come in because I had, I figured around 30. Something like that. I don't know, whatever it was. It ended up being 28.5 inside, and there was, for a brief little second, there was like that little disappointment that it didn't.
Yeah, so it's already.
You know what I'm like? Get me out of here.
Yeah, don't get in negative.
Because he's a magnificent animal.
Exactly.
So, I'm just being honest. I felt it right there.
Yep.
And I've been very careful to guard it all these years.
Yep.
And just not even
have fun.
Go down that road.
Bottom line,
and I can feel it in that little bit. It's on video, and I'm sure people that can read other people can see it.
Yes.
But that number sucks, man. When you said it.
The number is the root of all evil.
Yes.
I mean, to this game.
Everybody wants ground growthage.
And that deer, thank God, had it. But, you just have fun and hunt.
I'm glad I can't score deer or... I can guess I'm pretty good on the hoof, but not very good.
Yep.
I'm glad with that.
You want me to be honest?
Please.
I grew up hunting. With a guy that was a Pope and Young measurer, and I became a measurer when I was 20, and I've been a measurer ever since. Well, when I think Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett are good for things. They're good for certain things. And I grew up so hard on it's the net score and this and the ethics part of Pope and Young was really important for me early on. That's why I feel like I have a hatred for poachers because of I was instilled that strong ethics mentality as a young hunter. I love that part, but I discredited a lot of deer that I killed when I was young for a long time because they didn't net well. So I would show a picture of one of my biggest bucks and be like, yeah, this buck, he's a 132, but he grossed in the 160s.
Right.
And I always called him a 132, and I'd go to a bar or whatever and show it, and they'd be like, that's it? That's all
gross, baby. All gross.
Yeah. I should have been given that.
Give them what they deserve,
Give
baby.
them what they deserve, But you get
gross
a deer
all day.
You get a deer that can net 132, but he grosses 163 and some change, and it's like
that's bullshit.
Yep, nets are for fish.
It goes again. That kind of goes into that. Like, if we didn't care so much what other people thought, we wouldn't give a shit about the numbers.
That's right.
No,
and that's something, like, for myself, I've made some huge progress in over the last, like, 6 months to a year. Thankfully, I never had a huge problem in the hunting aspect. Otherwise, I mean, there were many people that thought back in the day, like, trying to tell me, like, you're never going to be able to produce a public land video, every year. Like, you're out of your mind, you know, because it didn't exist. Like, a video coming out every year for public land, at least in the whitetail space.
Yeah.
Nobody did it, you know?
Yep.
And that also then led to figuring out the most efficient way
to do it
beautifully, that just aligned with, like, okay, what is the best way? Because we only had one camera. We got to capture this. We're weekend warriors. Yep. You know, it wasn't, we weren't able to go out there 80 or 100 days in a year.
How many years into doing Whitetail Adrenaline did you jump full time? Like, how long did it take you for, like, I think I'm going to do this for a living?
I did it for 4 years, and I did some part-time work on my uncle's farm. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, you know what? It was when I was editing the 4th video. And that was the first year where we did all on the ground. And the encounter rate and the amount of footage that we got went through the roof. It was May of that year, and I was like, I'm not making that much going to work on the farm for a few hours a day.
Yeah.
Plus my gas money there and back.
Right.
I might as well just bite the bullet and dedicate all into editing to get this thing done, to sell it. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's when I took the leap.
Awesome.
But I mean, if people knew the background story leading up to that, I mean, I was severely in debt when I started this. Didn't own a vehicle. My dad borrowed me. I had to sell my truck about 6 months before, or a year before. Mm-hmm. Had to sell that because I got in debt real bad when I was young, 20 or 20. In my 20s is when early 20s is when it started, 2021. And so I sold my truck. My dad had a old minivan he let me borrow.
Yep.
And that was the first hunt vehicle. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
A borrowed van and severely in debt. That's how I started.
That's awesome, dude.
How old were you when you went full time?
When I went full time, I would have been 25.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man.
That's awesome.
That's impressive, man. Yeah. How scary was it to just be like, I'm all in, all chips are in?
It was a bit, but it was like when I looked at, like, it's a wash either way, because I'm not making that much by...
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? A few hours a day on the farm isn't...
Yeah, you made stuff happen to make it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Make it to where it's not be really
sure.
chase.
So...
That's cool, man.
I mean, the one thing I never had doubt in my mind. Like, I just never even...
Yeah,
it was like, whatever I got to do to scrape by, get by.
There ain't nothing he does that he isn't confident about. I'm just going to tell you
That's right.
now.
That's right.
I mean, when I met him, I'm like, yep, I see the vision, and I seen it. And I was like, this is different. Awesome.
So, Chancy, that's a good point. Like, when did you, like, all of a sudden you're in on it, man? Because you've been a strong personality in this whole ship for, a while. But, like, when was, like, how did this introduction go with you and Jared? And then when did you dive in?
Was it blonde hair?
I told a little bit of that. I mean, we were
blonde.
Well, I traveled. Let me do it a little quick.
I can't blame the man.
We did talk about this on the drunk podcast.
Yeah.
I do remember that part.
But that's how drunk I was. So,
well, I'll do a little quickie on it. So we were traveling around. I was doing the shows, traveling, selling my artwork, my wildlife paintings.
That's right.
Selling my wildlife paintings, and I was doing the turkey decoys, fully flocking them, spinning strut. I'd flock them. Anyway, long story short, I got my booth set up 10 by 10. I've been selling my artwork for a few years. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. It was like my sophomore year of high school, maybe before. I don't know when it was exactly. And we were at Madison, Wisconsin. Pretty sure it was Madison?
No, it was Minnesota.
It was Minnesota. We're at Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. Because it was like that arena thing, right?
Yep, correct. Yeah.
And we were in Minnesota, and I'm like, well, got the booth set up. Let's go. I'm going to go walk around by myself.
Do a cruise lap.
I'm going to go do a little, because when you're at the booth, you're kind of stuck there. And I was by myself. Right. I'm cruising. I'm cruising, seeing what the show's got to offer,
Checking
what's there.
Babes.
And yeah. And I'm bebopping around single. Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
Nothing locked me down at that. Yeah. And we're cruising through the arena, myself and I, and I see, TV going, I see the DVDs, and I see this good looking blonde over there. I'm like, cool. I'll go cruise over here and see what she's got going on. You know what I mean? Hey, say hello. You know what I mean? I wasn't shy. I wasn't shy.
Chancy has never had a problem with women.
Never.
Don't be fooled. I was a late bloomer, boys, but it's all good. But I went down and I was talking to the girl. Oh, wow, what do you got going on? Oh, we've got the Whitetail Adrenaline DVD, da-da-da-da. And she was telling me, and what season was it?
That would have been our second
year, right? So you built the first DVD, boom, and this kid
we might have only had the first at that point, I think.
Yeah,
I was in the edit on the second book.
Yeah, and he had the most amazing booth, 10 by 10. Like he's a very artistic person.
It was a 10 by 10 at that point. I can't imagine Whitetail Adrenaline being a 10 by 10.
It was a 10 by 10, but it was a sick 10 by 10. I mean, he's ornery about it. He's smart. Trust me. He's got other avenues. If this don't work out, let me tell you something right now. He'll be, trust me, this is what he needs to be doing. He's put on this earth to do what he's doing. Yeah. That's why he's doing it. But long story short, I'm talking to this girl, flirting with her, all giddy about it, da-da-da-da. Nice gal. And all of a sudden, I'm flirting with her, like, legitly, and she knows she's giggling, but she's kind of awkward. And all of a sudden, Jack in the Box, Jared pops up behind the booth. He's down there tucking stuff away, and he heard me talking to this chick, which I wasn't inappropriate, but he just had that shit-eating grin that he's got at all times. And I'm like, oh my God. Holy, I said, hey, what's up, buddy? You know what I mean? He's like, you didn't have a clue who the hell I was. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't hear Whitetail Adrenaline. I seen DVDs. I started watching. I'm like, wow, this is cool. This is different. And that's how we became friends instantly. Right here, right then. We connected, switched numbers.
Girlfriend.
And for probably 4 or 5 years, he's like, hey, Chance, hey, you want to do a little public hunting with me? Let's do it. And I was like, yeah, but I had my own ground, like private.
Big deer.
Well, I thought, I was zoned in and I didn't really want to go anywhere else and do that. And I was like, maybe I'll do that. And finally I lost enough ground, from nothing wrong with leasing. Like I said, I wasn't able to keep up with, I wouldn't be able to pay the lease. I didn't have the money to do that. And I lost enough ground. I was just so pissed off. And he sensed it. He would come down. He was hunted a couple of years on public. And he said, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? And I was like, I'm like, all right, let's go.
I knew if I cut him loose, he didn't, he was a tree stand hunter then, but I knew like,
he's ready.
I cut this guy loose on the ground. He's
gonna be an animal.
He's gonna rip it apart.
It was fun, man, and that was the best switch of my life when it come to hunting. I obviously you'll see a lot of stress in the videos. I get pissed off. It's not. It's fun. I was telling even it's fun stress. Like it's stress that I want to have. It's not like, hey, I'm hunting here. I've been hunting here for years, and all of a sudden you got 14 stands around you. That pisses you off. That's bad stress because
that's
like,
bad.
Oh my God, I'm getting jungle gymmed in here, and it just blew my mind. And so I moved away from that situation. Now you see a public hunter, you get high five. Every once in a while I'm like, God dang it, this guy's coming in on where I'm at. This is my public. It's not that. I'm just
kind of like the
but it's
okay. All right,
public hunting. There's defense. It's defense. It's we ain't looking over.
Where are they going to
look over here? That's what I love about it, and it reminds me of it's like tournament bass fishing to me.
Yes,
it is.
That deer that Dan killed this year. So Turbo Dan, my buddy Jared, who almost died of COVID this summer, he was actually dead for 6 minutes. They jumped him back to life. So
that is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. That guy's personality.
Him and I, we've been buddies for 21 years, but he had drew this tag, and it was right after he drew the tag that he got COVID.
Oh, shit.
And he was in the hospital for 43 days dealing with all this. So he had this tag. I stayed down there after Chancy. And it was his last day. We get this good buck spotted. He jumped from private about a mile out. I got the glass on him. I'm like, geez, I just caught a cage. Just hopped the road. He's headed down into the public ditch. And it was about 20 minutes. He popped out the bottom of the ditch about 400 yards. Now he's got a doe. And I'm like, oh my God, he's sitting right where we need him. Like, just bed down, because I'm thinking we're going to be able to slide in here. I've got it all planned in my head. But we need to actually bed this deer. We can't get too rammy yet.
Yeah.
Something changed. They decided to hop onto private in this field, and it's like, okay, well, they're going to end up on this piece of public over here on the other side. It's a field that's kind of in the midst. Mm-hmm. They hop the fence. Now they're in a jungle, though. We can't go in there. Like, we're going to blow them out.
You hope they skeet over there. Like,
I'm playing stuff through my head, and I'm like looking at the wind direction. I'm like, it's going to be high. It's a cold night. There's cut corn up here. They're going to obviously go to the private fields. You got cut beans and cut corn. It's a cold night. They're probably going to hit the corn, which they're going to do it in a way where we can't really get them. So I'm like, all right, we're doing a bow drive. I know exactly. They're going to come flushing out of there, run 400 yards across this private. They're going to drop back onto public right here. I know it. Like, I just know it. I'm like, we're going to wait. We're going to wait 2 hours for the wind to switch, so it's a little more ideal for when we're set. And then we're sending Dan in.
Jared's thinking about making Play-Doh snakes.
Yeah, I'm just like, because I'm like, I know what's going to happen here. I got it in my head. Like, you don't know. That's one thing. You never know, but it's like all the stars were aligning. I've done it long enough to where it's like, okay, this is going to actually work. Beautiful. And then all of a sudden there was a guy going for a walk. Didn't have a bow or nothing. And I'm like, oh no. So it's like, all right, Dan, get going. He's got to come from the other end. But I know, like, unless this guy takes a break for 20 minutes, he's going to flush this deer before
just Dan a granola guy stopping to hit his one hitter. You got to get to make a move.
Big Buck Punk TV, like I tell you, dude, it's a bad disease. It just happens.
And what'd you say?
Big Buck Punk TV.
And that's one of the challenges with public land. I mean, that's a challenge. One of the scenarios. I mean, it happened this fall, and that guy flushed it out on the private. We didn't get the visual, but Dan ran into the guy and he said, "Geez, I jumped a big one. He went out on here into the private." So we left that. We went and rattled in a buck that Jared was very happy with. Not a giant deer, but he didn't care. He was, very happy with it. Very happy with it. Well, then we had a few hours left, 2-3 hours left in the day. Dan grabs Chancy's bow from the cabin, shoots it. Jared fired at his bow release. He's got one arrow with one broadhead.
Double D.
And we go out there and we go right to where I'm like, okay, if they're out on this private.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's pretty Chancy.
There you go. So we go out and I'm like, okay, if they are out on private still, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a decent chance they'll hop on a public right here. So we go in there, and it wasn't looking good. We get down to like 45 minutes light left, and it's like, let's cut our losses, get the heck out of here, go see if we can get a beat on a different good buck somewhere else, locked up with a doe that at least maybe we can get a start for next
tomorrow.
Day. Yeah. We pull out, and I'm like, well, we should get up there where we can glass the private better first before we completely cut our losses. Sure, and boom, he popped. His doe was just popping out of a cedar draw in the midst of these fields.
Right where you guys were sitting?
Yeah, well, not where we were sitting, but up on the private, 400 or 500 yards away from the public.
Mm-hmm.
Just big
I'm like, Dan, we got to go. We got to get there. And we get there, and 15, 20 minutes after we're there, it comes like clockwork. They hop the fence, boom, comes in 10 yards, throat punches.
Drills him.
On the walk.
Tell him about the bow. He grabbed my bow. One arrow. Like, that's all I had for him.
That's it.
I didn't know.
My buddy Jared's release, just fucking shot it to 30 yards.
You want to hunt? Sure, let's go.
He was Dan was grouping about like this to 30.
Jared's like, let's go, let's go. That's good.
All the further you're going to shoot,
it's possible.
Just a yard.
It was my bow, so that's how we're shooting.
I love podcasting with you guys because you guys are like so overwhelmingly fun. It's just like I'm watching Ross watch you guys listening to this story, and like you guys are just fucking. So
I couldn't even imagine shooting Chancy's bow because he's got like a 38 draw.
Well, Double D's built like me. He's as tall as me, lankier than me, wilder than me.
He's got it.
And he's just like, he grabbed on that.
Shoot Chancy Walker's bow.
Right, it fit him. Like a glove.
Yeah, deer ran 15 yards.
And Dan can use anything of mine. Dan's one of the most amazing.
He punched him broadside.
Let him a little too much.
Yeah.
How far did he go?
15 yards.
Dude, that's
bled out, dude.
We don't talk about that. You don't want to talk about
He overlet him. Yeah, I mean, it was like,
gotcha.
I don't even think it was 10 yards. I think it was more like 8, but it was right there.
It's Cherokee style.
He was leading.
Cherokee style. It's in our blood.
That was his first deer on the ground, and and a lot goes through a guy's head. Like, you don't have time to, like,
Kentucky windage, boy.
Exactly.
Yep.
How do you think they shot him on a horse, bud? They're running right next to him. Smoke them just like they did the buffalo. The
Hit him in
Cherokee
the throat, boy. Hit him in the throat.
They ain't going to sit there and look at you.
Cut him right in the jugular.
You know, we talked about that shot.
You can't map them.
With Aaron Blasey. Aaron Blasey shot like a Mondo, 170 something.
Oh, giant.
12 yards, and it was facing him, and he put it right in its, like, just below the throat patch, but the angle just took out its heart.
Everything.
I mean, you got
everything.
You got
That's
a good
a whole nother
broadhead
road.
with a good arrow weight.
Shish kebab
It
king
is
ground
the
level.
deadliest shot you can put on an animal.
It's one of those shots
Straight
you don't
on.
really want to talk about, like, publicly, because most people aren't suited to know the anatomy, whatever.
Yeah.
And then know their equipment and stuff good enough to talk about it publicly. But if you know your shit, that shot is
Inch and a half cut broadhead, quarter
two blade on the ground,
day.
game over.
Yeah.
Well, not
game
give
over.
me. Give it to me.
You do 550 grains.
They don't got it. They don't got a
550
chance.
grains out of a 70-pound compound with that 1.5-inch cut-on-contact two-blade.
Yeah.
They're
It's game
toast.
over.
60 yards, done.
You
Well,
hit
not
the
even
cavity, and it's about 85% of the time. It's over.
It's
It don't
peekabooing in
matter.
there and getting.
I think what gets dangerous is guys hit the brisket because they don't realize where they need to be.
Gotta go higher.
And that anatomy, because the brisket's just meat and fat. It's a loose.
Well, from a tree stand, you're at a bigger disadvantage from angled.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
You
right.
know, like ground, that's different.
You got to, from a tree
ground
stand, you
is
have to be
beautiful.
very conscious of your exit hole.
Well, you always think.
Entry and
Remember
exit.
Stan Potts when he killed that 200?
Yeah.
And he
Which
shot that
one?
thing right up it. Well, no, Stanny.
Yeah, no, I remember that one. It was
But
a
remember, and
220.
that freaks a lot of guys. Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
deal
back
with
in that day,
That's
yeah.
stressful.
Yeah.
Out of a tree, it was at that angle. That's an iffy angle, and where he was at. But at ground level, Jared taught me. I mean, I've never shot one at ground level on the ground looking at me until he, talked me into it. Like, if you get that situation, I'm like, he made me
think
feel
about not
comfortable
taking
with a
that shot.
two-blade broadhead in the jungle.
Done.
Shish kebab, they're done. I mean, they ain't living. You send it up in there, you're hitting lungs, gut, ass, heart, everything.
You don't have to
They
think
don't
about
live. They don't live with that.
You know, the deal with
They
that
don't.
is your kill zone's smaller. Sort of.
Theoretically.
Sort of.
It's really
Theoretically,
not. It's really not.
It's really not, because
It is this way, but not this way.
what happens is you don't have to think about if they take a step forward. If they drop their front a lot more. Their back
Still
line,
get
when they
their
drop,
ass.
their back line's about a 30-degree angle. So by the middle of the lung area, back, it's still way up here. And by the back of lungs, you're way up here.
You
so
get the
even if
liver and the gut.
Even if you hit them like high shoulder with a cut-on contact two-blade,
The angle.
I mean, it's going to come out on the bottom side of their belly, right between their rear legs, or damn close to it.
Yeah.
So that's why penetration
If you're my height.
matters. Because, on a head-on, let's say they get 10, 12 inches of
I go
drop
through the
on
brisket out the
you don't
asshole.
hit no man's land no more. As long as your arrow keeps going, there is no man's land.
No,
Right.
you're
So
right.
you get rid of that possibility as well.
Yep.
That's why I don't like broadside shots, because almost every deer except one deer I've seen lost is broadside, because it's the biggest area, the dead man zone,
And they can
or
duck
down
you.
by the brisket, but dead man zone, that's the biggest area on a deer you can hit and not kill the animal.
Brisket, you got to wait.
We're not saying wait for him to come head on, but I'm just telling you right now.
I do.
You're-
I will.
but I'm just saying, hey, I've shot a couple that I'm like right there where you put a 12 and they live. And I don't know. I just missed him.
Kurt made a good point. You got to be smart about knowing the limitations of your equipment.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I'm going out there like with a longbow. My light arrow's 650. My heavy one's 860.
Yep.
And they're cut on contact, simple, very good broadhead design.
You're shooting a spear,
and heavy draw
right.
weight.
It's
So
a
it's
spear.
like
I mean, it's medieval.
Yeah.
I mean,
Penetration.
Game of Thrones shit.
I know
Yep.
the limitations of.
You want to know
that,
the crew that opened that to me? I'm a big fan of them. I've never met the guys, never podcasted with them. I'd love to. The Born and Raised Outdoor guys.
Okay.
When I went on my elk hunt, I studied a lot of like elk anatomy shots, and I watching their series. Like a lot of times, if you get an elk to come into a call, he's coming in head on.
Head on. Yeah.
So I set up a heavy arrow. It kind of led into a successful hunt. I didn't kill an elk, but I set up a heavy arrow, heavy broadhead, all that stuff. Studied anatomy because my dad and I, when we went on that hunt, we're like, man, if we got to pop one right there in the front at 20 yards, like, I want to know where to aim.
Yep.
And they had some good videos of breaking down like the carcass with Corey Jacobson, which we podcasted with. And what was funny, I never killed an elk, but early October I had a doe head on the ground. It was the first whitetail I've ever killed on the ground. And she saw me on the ground and then turned straight for me. And I was like, you're so fucked. I did one of those Ross Biggers and I hit her. And I was expecting her to duck, so I aimed a little high, and that thing center punched her and rolled her in like 4 yards. She turned, rolled, got up, tried to get up, rolled, and expired.
Fine juggler.
On the ground,
juggler.
On the ground, Kurt, you're going to find that these animals are quarter to you I think 75-80% of the time. They sense you being there, so they're ready. Their automatic reaction is to face the problem. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
you wait for broadside.
So if I'm going
we gotta
out there,
believe in what we do to be able to push
2-blade only. The Indians had it right the first time.
So if I'm going out there,
you're right.
I don't view bone on an animal like I'm going out there with a setup that I don't care if I hit the bone. If my arrow ain't good enough to penetrate through any bone, I don't visualize. I don't see bone. You know, like when I'm shooting at an animal, because as soon as then I'm like, oh, I'm
consciously.
Not shooting.
That broadhead's going to work when it's not a good shot, and it's going to work when it is.
You know,
100%.
And so I'll go out there with a little heavier draw, like, you know, I'll give up a little bit of accuracy for penetration, so I'll shoot a heavier longbow for that reason.
Yeah,
because penetration to me is very important. I can't control how an animal's going to react. A lot of people don't realize that in 7 to 10 feet of arrow travel out of a 70-pound compound, an animal can drop out of a 12 ring.
So, Jared, you and I think we had a private conversation. It was just you and I chat. I don't remember where the hell we were talking about this. About you. Did you do some sort of timing method with the drop of a whitetail?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has the option to. I mean, he edits all these. Right.
But you and I, it was just you. I don't know where the hell we were, but you were talking about that. And you kind of broke down how you did the math. And you don't, if you want to, get into detail. But
yeah, I can a little bit. Yeah. So it was 2010. And you remember that one I hit high? Yeah. It was 26 yards. I had a 70-pound Matthews Z7, very fast bow for the time. And that arrow was, I figured, 15 yards out of the bow before the animal even started to react. And that's when this deer got 10, 12 inches of drop in that last 11 yards. You know, in the first, and it didn't react any faster than any other deer, the rate at the drop. The rate of a whitetail is pretty much the same.
This is on a deer that knows you're there.
Yes,
like he's
that's true too.
And he's ready.
You got to watch a deer in rut that's fucking drunk. You got to watch. You got to watch.
You know, when they react, it's a reaction based from the sympathetic nervous system of the animal. So the rate's going to be about the same, depending on, you know what I mean. It's not going to be like, whoa, that one dropped so much faster. I mean, they're about the same.
Once they figure it out, they're dropping the same rate.
Yeah, but that blew my mind because it's like I aimed at the heart because. Yeah, I'm expecting 3-4 inches of drop at 26 yards, but not 10, 12.
Yeah.
Or 16, 18.
And that's when it hit me. And I was like, I no longer can really, you know, like it drove me crazy because I was an accurate shooter with a compound. Very accurate, but it drove me crazy that I could not control that aspect. I had to get grips with reality. Like I cannot absolutely determine, and seeing how fast when I watch this frame by frame, you know, like you got the clock speed.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. That's why I say 7 to 10. There's a little variance in there, but you know, that first flinch of reaction, they get about a half inch of drop. Then the next frame of video, which is a 30th of a second. So you can run the, you know, math. I'm not going to go down all that road. But,
you know what I mean? Do that right now.
But he's got to watch 100 and some.
He's a scientist.
The
I
next
promise.
frame will be about an inch and a quarter to an inch and a half a drop. Then the next frame, you're getting into 2 and a quarter, pushing 2.5 inches, and then the next frame of video, you're another 2.5 right in there, inches of drop, and then it starts slowing down just a little bit to where it's like right around 2 or just under 2 inches of drop. And then they start gradually slowing down before they start coming back up again. You know, I mean, but now you're talking 12, 14 inches, you know, as you go down through, you know, but that's when it hit me. I'm like, Jesus, these things in 7 to 10 feet of arrow travel out of a high-speed compound
it don't matter.
out of a 12 ring, you know, and that drove me crazy. To be able to be an accurate shooter, not have buck fever. I know I didn't have buck fever.
Put your work in and practice.
You know, and I didn't talk about that on video because then you just look like you're making excuses.
Well, right.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
100%.
You know,
it's a lot of gray.
Between 2010 and 2011, there was many animals that I ran into these situations that I was just getting screwed on. Like, and I'm like,
I gotta figure something out here.
That's what actually led me to the longbow.
Deeper down, you could have maybe took him before he got you, or whatever.
Yeah, or
whatever.
Rush shots.
What do you feel the reaction time is to a longbow compared to like what a compound is? You think it's about the same once they just hear the bow?
I think it's similar.
Once they figure it out,
very similar. But I'm able to be more versatile with it,
and you're closer,
and I can execute the shot.
You have to
insanely quicker. compared to a compound.
Sure. Yeah.
So I basically, you know, up until that point, accuracy was everything for me.
You're aiming for a hair.
Accuracy was everything.
Yeah, hitting
and
dimes,
once I realized that doesn't actually, that's not actually how it works, at least for this style of hunting.
Yeah.
You know, like, I believe that's a very good, how I was shooting a compound and doing all that. That's great for the right situations. It was great at 60 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I killed one that season at 63 yards. You know, that was a left-handed compound Scots. You know,
God damn, you're right.
I didn't own a compound for.
Hey, I watched him out shoot guys with their own bows at the shooting. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, we won't tell who it was.
Yeah.
He grabbed his own bow. I was in this man. This guy, I'm the best shot. He grabbed his own bow, wrong side, and just smoked.
And
that guy was sick.
But I was.
He was sick. He was sick all right after that.
Like
he was. He quit. He hung it up.
I bet he did.
Threw in the trash can.
Nonetheless, I worked in an archery shop long before the videos, and so I got really used to shooting other people's bows all the time. And I was a process shooter,
sense,
and I knew, you know, I had done all
your DNA a little bit.
Yeah, and it works great when you have the time and you're well hidden and you're in a tree stand or blind or whatever. But now I'm out here, and I'm not trying to.
He's helped me.
Degrade that at all.
Yeah, I don't feel that
for those certain situations, or I have a deer at 60 yards on the ground that doesn't know I'm there, and I got all the time in the world. Freaking great. 60, 70. I mean, that was 15 years ago. Now it's probably 80, 90, 100 yards.
Sure.
Yeah. Would
Easily
be great.
could do it. Easily could do it. Yeah.
But for this style of hunting, for one, I loved getting close. For two, I saw the limitations of the equipment. For
getting vertical in situations.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of different things. So I had to start factoring, you know, there's basically 4 main things that I looked at. You know, one being accuracy, but I didn't put accuracy as like the only thing anymore.
But distance, angle, like all that stuff.
It came down to, I wrapped it around overall deadliness.
Yep.
Being revolved around versatility, how I can move my body, manipulate my body to stay hidden and still execute the shot, shoot the bow horizontal.
Yep.
Speed of executing the shot, how fast I can draw and shoot it.
And these are question real quick. These are majority whitetails that you're talking about.
Yeah, anything though.
But anything.
Anything.
So you've seen
any big game animal. This will help.
Another quick question. So whitetails are easier. If you, maybe you guys disagree, but whitetails are quicker to duck you, duck and arrow than a mule deer would be.
Oh, well,
I got some on video.
I got some ducking stories.
There's elk, mule deer, or whitetail. Any situation, any deer situation is different. That's why it goes back to you cannot control the animal that you're hunting. You
I can't control complete accuracy.
You have to read the animal based on
nose
everything
down,
you do.
The best you can at that moment.
That's right. It's every animal's different. Elk drop fucking 24 inches. I mean, you gotta whatever.
Bigger animal, bigger drop, boys.
It does not matter. It does not matter. You gotta read the elk situation.
Yeah, there's some of that.
Every bow, it don't matter. 70-pound bows, it doesn't matter. They're gonna drop.
You should see an elephant.
We had a mule deer that was at 55 yards, nose down, by himself in the field in clover. And he matrixed the shit out of us.
You're
like his belly hit the ground.
Back to the story of mule deer stupider than whitetail. Well, there's occasionally a lot of them that are.
There was no reason for him to be on alarm whatsoever. Right. He just
was on it.
He was on it.
Right.
He's a fucking ninja.
Yeah,
he's a ninja.
And we both looked at each other like, what in the fuck?
There'll always be that ninja. So don't think you're God Almighty because you will be humbled.
Somebody will always get beat.
But
they always get beat.
Your ass will get humbled, period. End of story.
But it's hard to plan for a drop shot when you naturally just want to aim, especially if you shoot at a 3D target over and over and over.
That's right.
A 3D target don't move.
Even the heart.
I will tell you.
I was a heart shooter, right? Like I grew up, you know, and I watched the Primos videos when they drew the line out, so I was very aware of the drop long time ago. That wasn't just like a new discovery to me.
Right.
But at 26 yards,
it was.
Me aiming at the heart, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. That was the moment where I was like...
Yeah, you can be from heart to no bow zone real fast at 26.
You're fucking right, you can.
I was just like, Jesus, you know, like, what can I do about this?
Put on a rage and aim in the middle.
Don't do that, please. Don't do that.
The rats don't drop as much, but
don't actually do that. We're kidding.
I'm kidding.
You got a 4-inch
serious thing.
It's like throwing an axe through an animal.
Hey, they work when you hit them right, but when they don't, trust me.
Quarter 2, you don't got a chance. Don't do it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Right.
Wild turkeys only.
Yeah, right. But I think this is great conversation. I love like the anatomy breakdown of like, it's important conversation, right? It's like, if someone who never thought about it might listen to this and get something out of this.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Hey, it might piss them off and it might turn them on, but you know what? Everybody's got their own vision. And whatever turns them on, whatever makes them feel confident, that is what you got to do. And if you ain't doing that, you're lying to yourself. But I know I like shooting a 2-blade broadhead. Rage has killed a shit ton of deer. I just don't want to do it. It's messed me up on some big bucks, shoulder blade. There's nothing wrong with that. If you hit them perfect, they work every time. If you don't hit them perfect, they ain't working.
They'll ricochet.
I know what works.
Ricochet off a shoulder bone and run down the ribs, dude.
Wait, we've failed. We've all failed. I've failed. I have messed up more big bucks than you'd ever dream. If I would have had him, I would have opened my own Cabela's store. If I would have killed all that. I'm telling you.
I told Chancy today, I think I killed an eighth of 30-yard encounters.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I killed an eighth.
Really?
And that will tell you something.
Jared fired me 2 years ago. He's like, I just can't have you missing these deer like this.
That's the truth, though. I mean, when you do those,
but then he's like, I'm sorry, Chance, you hit a fence.
I did tell you that afterwards.
You did.
Well, no, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
Right.
It's about a damn eighth to a quarter if you're good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's.
I Bill Jordan that one.
I mean, you've closed that margin quite a bit, though. And you're talking about, like, on the ground, face to face. That's a whole nother...
That's a whole nother realm.
You know, and I'm not trying to... I mean, that's just reality.
Yeah.
That's what I faced, 2010 when we went full to the ground. That's when I started to really have to, reality, like, get honest with myself with, is this really the shooting style? Is this really working out?
Yeah.
For these types of scenarios of what I want to do? Because it wasn't. Not when I ran everything through my head in many different ways. I was like, well, it was great for that. But it really sucks at this. I like getting close.
Yep.
All these different things. And it's like, okay, this is no longer the ideal weapon or the ideal shooting style of that. And I was too afraid to go back and try. I did do some tests to see how fast I could draw and shoot a compound. But, if you're not careful with that, you can end up going, where I was in my teens, which was more of a panic shooter.
Target panic,
I think I know. I think I could go to another direction with it now. I think I could, but I'm still not going to be nearly as fast as, say, a longbow.
Right, that's your instinct kicks in, and you can snap shoot that and feel good.
You got no roll over the cam, so there's no shock of that, and whatnot.
Hey, let me tell you something. So what video was that when you kind of did the switch from all on ground to kind of you got to see this bitch run a tree stand quick. You were running that. What's that old tree stand that you ran? You're like, try this, try this. Which I was a lone wolfer, back in the day. But it was the Summit, the quick hang. They had the little strap on there.
Oh, yeah.
He hung that little lip on there. Dude, this guy, I'm pretty, hey, I'm not going to be cocky, but I'm going to tell you right, I can hang a lone wolf quicker than most people dream. Yeah. Like boom, 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 screw step, hang, whatever you want. I'm up in the jungle.
It's done.
This guy's on another level. I'm like, he's
back in the day shit.
He's a true Cherokee tree climber.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was. But it worked.
He climbed trees without anything.
I'm telling you right now, his limb hanging. This kid's he's got such this, he's this upper body strength. He looked like Tarzan.
A monkey.
But anyway,
it's long, lanky
He's
arms.
a tree stand hunting, leaning mean.
Yeah, what's the point to this?
Hey, this did not start on the ground. This kid, I felt like I was really good. You're on another level when it comes to like setting a setup real quick and
there's
the vision.
Cherokee.
I played that game for a long time.
Yeah.
I played that tree stand game of like going in and bebopping. So I had the 10-pound stands in, pull them at night in the dark, and hang them in the morning in another spot because that's kind of
our loved it. It was fun.
He would have had the chief's daughter. Okay.
He would have. Pocahontas wouldn't have had a clue. He would have had her married up.
Let's segue this away.
And I would have had her twin sister.
Let's get out the Indian stuff.
Where am I going to go?
I am Cherokee.
Hey, you know what I want to do? I am Cherokee.
I love our culture. Bring it. I mean,
that went left field quick.
Hey, no. Here's what we should do. While Jared's out, I want to segue into something. I want to go back to when you mentioned your artwork, man, because you brought us some cool stuff. I want to, Tanner, you want to poke your head out and see if PR Paletta can pull in those paintings?
Yeah. We still haven't talked about muleys yet.
No,
let me just pull away here.
We finished that muley story. They're just for fun, and we shot them where we shot them. Is pretty much what I got out of it.
That's unbelievable. This is pretty crazy how big these. I mean, to get 3 of them like that, that's pretty insane. Special. But he's an ornery bastard. That's he's running around like a damn mink out there, just lacing them. They don't even know they're bedding and breeding.
There you go. Right so Chancy brought us in.
Paletta, come in here.
We're videoing this podcast. When the video podcast comes out to the audio, we'll see.
You got to be part of this. Come in here.
Chancy, get up in here, Brad. You painted them.
Get in there.
You lined it up. Brandon's like, we need to do this. It was his idea. Obviously, I'm like, it's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah,
dude, it's a group effort.
Beautiful.
Brandon is a very caring, giving, amazing person. He is an amazing person.
Talk about what you do with your paintings, Chancy.
So these feather paintings, I've been doing these for probably since that's when I met Jared. I was selling these. I was bringing about 50 to 60 of them to the show, and I would sell them. And I never painted them. I painted what I wanted to paint. I'd paint like cardinals on them, to cover the women. They're the ones that
what's up?
Don't be fooled. I had them figured out.
Couple hours.
And then I would do some turkeys, some deer. And I would, it was a craft show, as Logan McNulty would say.
Isn't that crafty?
And we would set up these, and I sold them. I was doing pretty good. I wasn't making a lot, but it was a lot when you're a young kid. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've been doing them since 2003 now, and I don't know how many I've done. I've been
8,000.
This is what pays my bills, my artwork. It's my craft. But we did the old working class bow hunter on that one there. But he's already got one, so I don't know where you're going to hang this one.
No, hey.
Everybody's artwork's different, and I'm sure you'll find a place for it. Brandon lined it up.
This other feather that Chancy painted has Papa Dave's buck, the Geyer buck, on it, and they surprised me with this. I saw, so Jared gets out the big fancy camera, and I'm playing hide and seek with my daughter, and I'm like, why is he filming? What's going on? And so immediately I'm like, all right, ignore the camera, and I'm playing hide and seek, and then all of a sudden I see Chancy and PR Paletta roll out with these 2-frame paint, and I didn't see what was on them. I saw the working class one first. I'm like, oh, that's badass. 'Cause that's something I want to talk to you about doing anyway. And then I see this other one with a deer on it, and then you guys whip it in my face, and it's the Geyer buck with Papa Dave, on the bottom, and Chancy has the back sign, like your signature art, and like.
Because this was a whole operation to get this done, too.
So I didn't have any fucking idea.
No idea.
And of course, like the Geyer buck and anything with my dad is like kind of hits me in waterworks a little bit, especially if I'm being filmed and my buddies are around. I'm like trying to suppress it. So I'm like holding back the waterworks. It's emotional for me.
That's good, man. Hey,
absolutely.
Hey, you got a lot of great things going. We'd love to be a part of whatever you got going on. And
yeah, man,
that's just a gift from all of us.
Yeah, it's so appreciated. Like you guys don't even understand. Like Eric, like apparently at my daughter's birthday, which is literally not even a month after my dad passed, Eric was in taking photos.
PR Paletta called me that day and said, "Hey, I want Chancy to draw a feather of the Geyer buck." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "I need pictures of it." I'm like, well, fuck, you're always around when I'm at your house. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, birthday party, perfect timing.
Yeah.
I stuck in there, hey, I got to take a piss.
Hey, Kurt, I got to go take a shit.
Yeah, so I'm
gone a while.
I'm in his house, in his living room, taking these pictures, looking out the window. Okay, he's not coming in, so I take like 20 pictures,
That's awesome.
Send him to PR Paletta, and he gets them over to Chancy, and then.
Yeah, it worked out, man. Yeah. I love paint. It's a very one-of-one gift, and
dude,
it's
incredible.
I painted Jared the Whitetail Adrenaline logo on there. It's just here's the deal. It's a one-on-one. People love them. I still do them. I can't keep up. Am I sick of painting them? You damn right I'm sick of painting these damn things. I just want to fish and hunt. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So until that happens, where I can do that every day and that whatever, I'm going to paint them damn things till the sun's coming up. Hopefully I don't have to do that, but I'm always going to paint them damn feathers. Whether it's right now I'm doing a couple hundred a year. I'm gonna, if I can break it down to about 30 to 40 custom orders a year, and getting line. I mean, just where I can work on something else because I would love to build my big paintings, and I just don't have time to do it because I'm so dedicated in these feather paintings. Yeah. I got orders, people pay me, I have to produce, and I'm an adventurous son of a bitch. I like to do shit.
Well, that's the first question up there. How does Chancy piss excellence in every outdoor activity?
I pissed a lot of
shit. I just seen it.
I pissed a lot of failures, and we. No matter how good you are, you're still going to fail. It's a humbling life.
A lot of
and you do the best you can. I have failed. We've all in this room have messed up more big deer than we've killed. Maybe not Mr. 200 over here, but I'm kidding. Hey, trust me. Ask him how many big bucks have you messed up.
It would be stupid to tell you.
So I mean, we're all human.
It's about a quarter, dude.
Hey, we're all human.
At least, yeah.
We're all human. This is not rifled during the rut.
3/4 fuck up.
Okay, this is. It takes a lot, but. We've all been blessed here. That's why we're all sitting here today.
That's right.
That's why we're here. So,
that's right. But Chancy,
very fortunate.
And all you guys, seriously, for those paintings, that means so much to me, man. And it's just like crazy how recognizable we've kind of made the Geyer buck. It's just an antler. It's two antlers set up, and it's almost like become a logo.
Yeah. What a beautiful deer, man.
In order for you to like capture the look of it, like. That's at first when I looked at him, like, how did he know like the thickness of the main beam at that? Because I've looked at that.
I had that sneaky picture he sent me.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I'm like, how did you know? You know.
Well, then it goes on beyond this because PR Paletta called me yesterday. He's like, "Hey, how are we going to video this?" I'm like, "Well, I can grab one of our cameras," and that's why I called Ross today when I asked you if we need anything else. But you already said you're at the studio. I'm like, I can have Ross grab a camera of his,
and I did.
It'd be sneaky. But I called him today. I'm like, to grab a camera, but you were already here.
And
so I had to play it off. I'm like, yeah, do you guys need anything else?
Like, all you had to do is say, hey, you know what? I got a couple buddies I'm talking. I wanted to show them a picture of that buck. I told them about it, and here, man, I want to take a picture of that. Cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't even have had a clue.
I would have been like, fuck yeah, take a picture of it, you know? But
that's right.
No,
so Jared got clued in pretty quick.
Being sneaky, though.
We were sneaky.
Ornery bastard.
It's cool, man. I did not see it coming. It blindsided me in a good way, right? So much appreciated. I just want to take a minute to like say thank you for that.
Hey, thank you for having us here, man. It was a good time.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys
good drinks, good time, good, gift of gab. Hey. Talking big bucks. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're about. But like, I mean, you guys just have like
big muley,
all sorts of different talents and like skill sets. You guys are just good. Like, you guys are good at talking. Of course, like we all live this stuff, and it's always fun. It's funny because I just feel like our crew in the last year has become like supplements to each other in a way.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
you learn off each other.
You learn off each other, but just like the camaraderie of just like shooting the shit in general has become just a good thing in the last. I mean, we've known each other, right? But like just in the last year, I feel like it's just amplified from the last Nebraska show, the 2021 Nebraska show to the 22 Nebraska show, which was last weekend.
Well, we had a pretty good time.
It was,
So to not make it a comparison deal.
Did you guys stay in the same place?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Stay in the same place? Definitely.
Yeah.
No.
Well, hell, the first time we met Tanner, we went back to Airbnb and he was making fajitas.
Yeah, 4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m.
And then
fajitas.
I left at 5:30.
That's right. That's right.
Unconclusive.
You make a mean fajita?
Oh, damn.
Oh,
I'll make you a fajita, turn your fucking ears up, dude.
Or have a little Cholula on it.
But I guarantee you'll make me a fajita.
Hey, I do. I'd
mine up, too.
Yeah, I'll make you something.
Cherokee.
A little Mexican Cholula sauce. That's the best
with
sauce.
the lady on it.
You damn right. She had it figured out long
Gotta burn it into the cast iron pan. You know?
You make your own tortillas?
It's too wild.
I know you. I figured.
I make any damn thing, bro.
I know you do, bud. I know.
Whatever you want, I'll make
watch
it.
that buck.
We will.
Watch that buck.
Hey, we will do
God
some
damn.
cooking eventually.
You guys are right. So in the future here, what's I don't know what you can say or can't say, Jared, but what's some of the new things you got cooking, man? And maybe you can't give it away, but there's something going on.
He should give some of it away.
Give us a sample.
What are you cooking? I'm hungry.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
I mean, we've had the two best seasons.
Yeah.
We've ever had.
Public.
The last
Public.
two. And public on top. You know, I mean, obviously we talked about the Uncuffed. We got a slice of that. Of course. That's a slice of it.
Can we look forward to seeing like maybe
He'll give away a DVD set. Is that enough to give away?
maybe you should give one away. But like can we count on like any shorts of Jared giving away a hot tip on like a YouTube or another digital, like maybe on the iTunes or Google Play, like some like short videos, tip videos, little tidbits.
Yeah,
anything?
I mean, as far as
extra content,
a lot of people. Well, I think maybe what you're trying to get. When's the next video coming out? Is that where you're?
I'm leading in there. Yes.
Okay, you're leading in there.
Yeah. I asked the question to get more answers out of the question.
Yeah, I mean I didn't plan this last year. I really wanted to have a release last year. Mm-hmm. We had the content. We got the content. Like, no shortage of that.
Well, you got 15 kills. You got to figure out how to edit it all.
18, 19. 19 with your dough.
No, I'm talking about you.
Dough. 19 with your dough, dude.
Yeah, 35,
dude, that's a magnum dough, boy. You wait.
Yeah, sorry for the dough.
I think it's 35 kills right now.
35.
That was a cattail dough.
Is what it is. Yeah. But with how we film everything, is obviously it's unscripted, it's on the fly, but that means there's a mountain of footage, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which we obviously having the biggest amount of footage that we've ever had. That was a mountain. And we're severely undergunned in the edit department. Have been for many years. Mm-hmm. And the truth about it is we have all this content, but why there wasn't a release last year, I mean, for all these years, I just ran myself into the ground too far, And a year ago this month, I looked at my life and I was like, what the hell have I done? Mm-hmm. Because I didn't enjoy any of it anymore.
Any of the hunting or editing?
Not even.
You didn't get a hunt. You didn't even hunt.
I mean, even when I did hunt, I mean, people have kind of mentioned it. They've been able to see over the last 4 or 5 years. I'm just not quite there.
You're not you.
I'm not me.
Hey, but at least you can say you started from a borrowed van.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a great story.
It is a great story, but it is the matter-of-fact truth of it.
But it's not now.
This isn't funded sponsors.
I mean, reality of it is it's like January of last year, I'm like, I looked back at the previous year and the most happiest, most enjoyable thing that I could even come up with was like when I got done with the edit, it was like November 7th. And I loaded up the vehicles on the trailer. It was like 2 in the morning or something like that. It was, somewhere 1, 2, 3 in the morning. It was something like that. Loaded them up, hit the road to head, and I had already pulled 18 hours editing to get it wrapped up. And then hit the road, and I felt free as a
more
bird.
Alive than
like
you've
my
ever...
drive from getting
met me
with that
in Kansas
to Kansas. That was the most enjoyable part of that year.
The drive,
just
so that
all
tells
by myself, just done.
No.
And then right away, I'm ripping back into hunting, and I just.
Within
a day or two, I was just like...
talk about what it takes to build a DVD. That's what I'm going to tell you right now.
It ain't so bad, but when you're handling a project like this with that amount of massive content, I mean, what's a storage tower for the year? 80 terabytes? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the amount of
footage you're going through.
I mean, it's not 80, but we get an 80. I think we got a 110 now. Terabyte RAID for the season.
God.
There's 40, 50 terabytes or whatever it is of footage, and then proxy files, and then all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Because you're going through a mountain.
This camera's going right now. It's going right now.
Money.
And you see
like,
every inch of film on that.
Oh, yeah. We started to get a little bit the last couple of years just because it was becoming such a mountain. We started to get better in the field at document notes so we can skip over
it. Don't help. It's still running.
Nonetheless, what happened, I ran myself so hard for so long. I mean, I can't tell you how many hours in a row. I mean, not
40,
so much
60 hours.
I mean, back in the day, 40 hours without sleep. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many of them. I mean,
sleeps next to the computer.
That's no problem for me to do that.
Zombie.
I've been there and done it so much, I know I can. So
when he sleeps, don't wake him up. Don't fucking wake him up.
You do that. You do that over and over. You do that so many times throughout that. And I'm not just talking 40s. It's just okay, 18s feel easy now, but then you know what I mean. It's like you hit a point where. It's a ticking time bomb.
It's a burnout.
You're eventually going to hit a point, which I hit.
Wasn't having fun anymore.
January last year, where when I went to sit behind the computer to get work done for the first time in my life, I couldn't sit at that computer. I literally could not do it within 45 minutes to an hour, and I couldn't function.
You lost interest.
I mean, I mean that's where I was at. I could not get. That's all I could do, and I had to get out of there. I was like,
let's talk about the new job.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of jobs you can show up for throwing hay bales. I did, I don't even want to know how many tens of thousands of hay bales I threw on the farm. Yeah, you can just show up and go through the motions.
So, Jared,
this type of work, you got to have your brain into it. It's got to be there.
Yeah, you got to be all there.
For the first time in my life, I was at a lot. I don't even know how to You know, like I could always, even if I didn't want to, I could force myself to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I did for a long time, but I couldn't. You know, and this went on for a few months.
When you hit that,
you know, and I did everything. You know, Tanner and I, we went on a 2-week vacation. You know, I'm thinking, what can I do here to get myself
Didn't
refreshed?
help a damn thing. Only depressed you negatively more.
Jared, you were looking for that reset button.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it took, a good buddy of mine.
Wake the hell up, get something started, you know?
Paletta, he was a part that, he told me a few things, I had to work through some things there to get myself back on track. And it took most of the summer of, another good buddy of mine told me, you just need to start taking time for yourself like you've never done. And I'm like, he's like, go do stuff that you enjoy doing. And I'm
Fishing.
Like, what is that?
Fishing.
Fishing. That's where I was at. I was like, what do I enjoy?
Fishing.
You know what I mean?
He hasn't seen a summer for fucking 14 years.
Yeah.
Dude.
Right.
I was just like,
you've been a robot for so long.
And it started to turn. It started to turn like late July, early August. That's when it started to turn. It started to turn very quickly in a good direction.
So at the time when you were in the spot where you would sit down for an hour and just be like, you can't stand it. Like in your head, what were you like deep down? Were you like, I got to just get a job and fuck all this? I'm over it.
No, I didn't.
You never went there?
No. It's like, for me, it's like, is this really what my life's boiled down to? Is this it? Is this all? Just because that ain't that.
It was a lot less hunting and a lot more.
Like I never was like sure what I should exactly do. And then it was in April. I went for a long drive, and I come back. I was probably a 6-7 hour drive. I went to the gas station to get something, and I ended up on a 6-7 hour drive, and I really enjoyed the drive. But I come back, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to continue to do this, I got to make some major changes where I redesign my life to make this business work for me, rather than me just be working for it to where that's all I'm ever doing. And so, I started making some changes there, and by fall I was in
back
much
in
better. Yeah, for the last 5 months, I'm happiest I've ever been in my life.
Good.
And I don't have a DVD release, but it's coming, and I'm a lot more excited about it. I mean, the times I did get out there hunting, last fall was the least amount of hunting I've done in 25 years.
But he did it with a clearer mind, which is instinctively descripted, blessed, or whatever.
You got stuff in the back.
A deeper version.
I felt good when I was out there.
Deeper version.
And on point.
Like a very, very unique way.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, Jared, you're to the point, too, it's like you can have some editors. I know it's probably hard to like do that because your style is so specific that you have to almost like make sure they know your style really well.
Yeah.
But like you can probably have some editors now. You can probably hunt when and how you want to hunt more selectively, especially you got a great support crew with PR Paletta. You got Tanner, you got Chancy, you got the rest of your crew. Right. I think now you can do that to kind of like, don't suffer the burnout as hard.
Yeah. No, that's what's going on right now. Is there's some we've got
things in the works.
We've got things very well in place over the last 5 years on the hunt side, even if I'm not there, and on the filming side,
you have a chart
that's come a long way in the last 5 years.
It's fine. Let's let it ride.
Now we're working on the edit side.
Ethan
to do the
and
same
Matt.
thing. Yeah. Now we're working on the edit side to basically do the same thing, and we got a good thing where I'm very happy with where we're moving with that. I mean, as far as the release from last year, that's going to release this summer. Basically, essentially, and I didn't plan this. I didn't really think about it until around the end of the year, early this year. I was like, we're just going to push it out and our release is going to come this summer, and that's the way it's going to be, and it's going to be great.
You got to live your life, and this
it's another damn level, though, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm enjoying myself a lot more, which is going to come through a lot more. I mean, you gotta live.
Oh, yeah.
You feel the vibe, even if it isn't even alive. You feel it.
I get it.
You gotta be sane, man. You can't. You gotta put yourself first.
Yeah.
You damn right.
To be honest with you, I'm more on like, we talked about like, I don't really care what other people think or whatever.
Right.
You actually, when you adopt that, you actually care more about, I care more about people than I ever cared before, but I care less about what they think of me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Or their opinion of me. Like we talked about the Uncuffed.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to think that I'm selling out and something. Go ahead. I don't care. Whatever you want to think.
This year was the best public land season we've ever had. So but that's out the window. That's just an add-on.
But you know what I think also too, Jared, and I mean, you're the amount of work you put in is uncommon for what everybody else does. Like the burnout there. Yeah, well, of course, right? You add that up, the hours you put in, all that stuff. Yeah, the burnout, all that equals burnout is what's going to happen.
Self-run, unsponsored
It'd
company.
blow your hair back. Right. It'd blow your hair back.
But you know what's also something that we have to think about is like, we're all in our 30s here at the studio too. All of us are.
Yep.
I think, and maybe my life situation a little bit with my dad passing and like having kids all at the same time has kind of hit me a little differently. But I think everyone in their 30s, as long as they're functioning individuals, because there's a lot of non-functioning 30-year-olds, I think we all probably in our 30s go through that like self-reflection to where we're not testosterone stupid 20-year-olds anymore. We become a little friendlier.
Very good point.
We become a little more conscious of like what your buddy might be feeling, what he's going through with his family, and when you run into strangers. I feel like lately, the last year, probably since my dad has passed, it hasn't quite been a year, I've been more like socially friendly, as in like where I may not need to be. Well, you know what I mean? Like I can just like function and be fine and not be a dick or nice either way. But I feel like lately, especially doing this now for a job, I feel like I'm more conscious of like other people around me, whether I know them or not, and how they feel when they interact with me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's, I don't know if maybe that's just being in your 30s.
No,
Do you think about that more?
No, I think that's exactly what happens. I mean, you start to look at life differently.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I basically looked at like death. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Because that's the biggest thing that you can look at is determining what actually matters.
For sure.
Okay. And then you get to realign some things if you look at it like that.
True.
And obviously you had what you went through and you start to look at things a little bit differently to where it's like, this thing that used to bother me or whatever isn't as big of a deal anymore. It's like,
don't give a fuck anymore.
Don't care.
Here's a perfect example.
Like people's opinions. Like
people's opinions is in there. Think of all the fist fights you got in from 18 to 25.
Stupid shit, dude.
If I went back there,
1 second, stupid shit.
100%.
Mostly of the time.
Right.
All of us have been there.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet you, I don't know, 90, but for sure 75% or more of our listeners have all been through the fist fight, the fuck you stage with whoever, and now it's like, what the fuck? Life's too short to do that shit.
Right, exactly.
At that point, you're like, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Who cares?
And
who cares?
You go through, not everything's smooth everywhere you go, but it gets smoother as you get older. I think your circles get smaller. You know who you want to be around. You can control who you're going to be around a little more than you can when you're in your 20s. And just like this, it's like you guys are here because we're all great buddies.
Right.
And we talk hunting, we bullshit. We can have life talks like this, even on the podcast for other people to hear. But like maybe we're helping people that are listening with how we're talking now, which I think is great. But I think it's awesome. Just be honest and just conscious of like what's going on in your life, especially as you get older in your 30s, late 30s, and have kids, and you're progressing in your career and what you do. It's all healthy shit, right?
Absolutely.
But hunting, I think, without hunting, I almost think I guess what I'm trying to say, it's easier to progress to this point when you have something that you're so focused on, like hunting, from you're a little kid until you're coming into your midlife. I didn't want to say we're having a midlife crisis because we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
We're close, but we're not there. But I think it's important to have something like that to help you grow as an individual, because you get to focus your time. And so much like critical thinking goes into an activity like hunting, especially the hunting you guys do. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know what I'm getting at here, but I think you guys.
I think what you're talking about is like you got something to aim at. And for me, I kind of lost that because I lost the love. I used to really love editing. Used to really love going to the shows. Used to really love hunting. And then all of a sudden, a year ago, January
crashing down.
The last thing to go was the hunting aspect, and I realized that I didn't even love that anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I was pretty decent at it, so I'm still doing it, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like once that was, I realized like that's no longer
Well, you're one of the few.
Then I had nothing left. You know,
He's few in his kind.
I'm not. You know, I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. You know, all of a sudden it's like now I have no aim.
You have nothing to shoot for.
I don't have anything.
It'd be real easy if a guy said, "Oh, here's $200,000 for a sponsor" in his low time, right? But it was not the case.
Yeah,
I mean, with him,
well, yeah, but then even with the money, what is it going to give? I mean, I even
money
thought
don't mean
about
fuck at all.
It don't.
Point,
none of that shit, and that's what got real clear to me. Not that I never really chased that either.
Yeah,
but I realized through all that, like, even
it's not about the money.
It's what you like, what you live for. It's what you want to do, what turns you on. I'm telling you, I am doing exactly what the hell I want to do, and there ain't nothing stopping me at my end.
Right.
You know, and Jared. He is going to do what the hell he wants to do. You're going to do what the hell you want to do. You're going to do what you want. Nobody's telling me how I'm going to live. I am living the way I want to live, and I'm living a damn dream. I had a shitty life before this one, probably. But I'm telling you right now, I'm prime time, party time. Get it done right here, right now. I'm killing, catching. I'm chasing my dream, which is being a professional basketball.
It's an awesome
and
thing.
Killing big bucks on the ground, Whitetail Adrenaline style. And that's what I'm doing.
It's refreshing, man.
It is refreshing.
It's awesome.
It's number one way to put it.
Hey, you know, I think it's a great transition. Let's hit some. There's only a few Patreon questions in here.
Okay.
I limited this to the top tier Patreon members. So let's just chip through them. I think it's a good way to kind of like, we've covered a lot in this. I think it's a great way to end the episode.
How does Chancy piss excellence?
Clayton Meyer, how does Chancy piss excellence in every outdoor activity he does?
Because he lives and dreams it.
He's 100 mile an hour.
I think you just covered it, Chancy.
Live and dream it. I mean, if you want to do something, you can do it. I do believe in that 100%. But if you don't try, you ain't going to get there. And I'll tell you, everything I've got to do, I'm very blessed. I've got to do it because of my artwork. That's been my connections. That's how I met you. I was selling artwork.
Yep.
That was my in. That was my in. And everything I've got to do in my life, all the people that I've got to meet, that was my in, was my artwork. Oh, he's an artist. Da 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 da. And you just get taught, hey, we build a painting. Oh, hey, come on over here and just do that. That is how I am, where I'm at. And I think that to my dad. Mm-hmm. And he passed 2 years ago. I lost my dad, and he was an amazing person, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was Dirty Harry was an artist, and that's where I got my art.
I met him in 2010. Oh, my God.
I lived through my dad.
Jared talks about your dad all the time, man.
He's a great man. Great. And my dad had more real friends than I've ever met. Anybody
ever in your life.
There was almost 2,000 people that came to his funeral, and he wasn't like a movie actor or anything like that.
Big and small.
He was just everybody. My dad treated everybody the same.
Dirty Harry. I mean,
I'm living my life, and I'm very blessed. I got amazing friends, amazing woman. Part of Jared's stuff. I would never be a part of anything else but his stuff.
And he is one of the most, if not the most positive people. Probably the most positive, energetic I've ever met, for sure.
You gotta be.
Yep.
Oh, there's always negative times, but let me tell you something. I try to be positive.
He's like the most positive negative, though. It's like even when he's spewing negativity, it's like in a positive
I'm
kind
gonna
of
go find him.
We're moving forward.
Let's get him. Let's get him.
What the hell was I thinking? But he's still moving forward.
Right.
That's energy carries him through.
He's not falling back. He's gonna jump out of the stand and fucking run in front of it and find it. Right? He told me his story. That's
you fuck
big
up a
thing.
shot. You climb out. I had that buck coming. He was going. I'm like, holy shit! I just fucked that up. I'm climbing down. I'm gonna kill his ass. Still, he thinks he's getting away, and I run down the river. About killed his ass.
That's right.
180.
That is the biggest thing that this is all about. Really, I think that is one of the hardest hitting things. Is I'll climb the hell out and I'll head him off and I'll kill him anyways.
Regroup as fast as you can and get back on the
That's right. Because
I'm not gonna be bothered up.
You get down.
I ain't going down.
You're gonna go sit at home and whine and cry, and that is not for us.
I love it, man.
That's victim shit.
Sean Polk. So we can't maybe covered this. They like to do things the hard way with spot and stock, public land, longbows, and on camera. That being said, what do they feel is the biggest key to their success?
Hunt on the ground.
Hunt on the ground.
Cover and ground.
Hunt on the ground.
On the ground.
Cover and ground, hunt on the ground, on the ground.
We got a couple things
to make something happen.
Cover the ground.
I mean, that's a very big point too. But I mean, the number one thing you can do in that sense, like public land, or you got a lot of different acreage. Hunt on the ground. I don't think there's ever any bigger return on time in hunting than hunt on the ground. Period.
Whether you walk
even
or
if you make
drive.
a bunch of mistakes for the first few years you do it, you begin to put dirt naturally.
Making that vision happen. Making that vision happen.
There's no doubt. Just like Chancy, he He missed the deer in the tree stand, jumped in the riverbed, ran down the freaking riverbed, and had a second shot within 4 or 5 minutes.
What do you think, Chan?
100%. That question, there's a lot of little.
Well, there is, but the biggest picture,
the biggest thing is just you make it happen. Oh wow, he's going on, he's gone. No, he's not. You get your ass around, you figure out how to do it, and try to get a shot at that animal. Or you know, what I mean, obviously there's a lot of instinct, a lot of things, a lot of wrong things you can do, a lot of right things, and you try to do the most right. This is. I mean, there's a lot of days where it didn't work, but you build those negative times and those times that you
learn from experience.
And let me tell you something right now. I can visualize this shit. We all can. That we don't want to do that because you already see the failures that could happen. You delete the failures. You do the best thing you can do, and your instinct kicks in. And then you just go with that. You just
run with your instinct.
Run with it, and don't mess around. Time 2 seconds can ruin your hunt.
Damn right. You sit around and geek-gawk about it, it's already over. The buck went through the pass.
He asked for the biggest key, and he got about 5 keys. All
right, next one.
We flock shot it, sorry.
Zach Rickford. Chancy, this is really the question. It's more of a comment, I think. Chancy, them chasing down, killing yote stories are awesome. I know some states it's legal on private property. Unfortunately, here in Illinois, you can't use a motor vehicle, but saying I've never tried it is a blast. Just thought it was cool. You posted the vid of a dead coyote in the CB chat.
Oh, you damn right. That's what I grew up doing. That was my original thing growing up, was chasing coyotes, and it's legal in Iowa. And that was my roots. I got a 243 Ruger. We use CBs to let where the deer or the coyotes, everything. You're like, wow. Wait, and you'll see the coyotes running. Hey, you tell the other guys, and you get in position, get out, and let that coyote run in, and you can shoot it, and that's pretty awesome. And that's what I grew up doing. And I have rolled a lot of coyotes on the run, but let me tell you, when I first started out, I couldn't hit shit. But when your instinct kicks out on a coyote running, you don't even think about it. Like I went out the other day, I had 2 opportunities, I rolled both of them. They were both like 300-400 yards away. Rolled them. And it was just instinct.
You're getting better,
I love rolling
with experience.
I love rolling coyotes on the run.
Subconscious.
I love that. But that's off season. That's after muzzleloader to
time
and
experience gets you there.
I love coyote. I've been begging him to come down to go coyote hunting with me because it is action packed. It's a lot of like there he is. He's coming on the half-mile fence line, heading eastbound. I mean, it's
like a fucking NASCAR race.
Yeah, it don't be
coming around the corner. Here goes.
You damn right, but you freak.
Just roll the truck.
Turns me on.
Give me another truck. I need another truck on the side road.
We ain't going there. That was.
I need another truck.
Yeah, that was.
Just roll the
truck. Somebody give me a truck. This one's rolling on its roof. I need another truck.
That's exactly.
I had 2 trucks. I about went through 2 in one day, but we ain't talking about.
Hey, I'm an Iowa resident. I'll come. I want to experience.
Come on
that.
over. Come on over. The thing is, I got to leave to Florida, so I'm kind of probably done for the coyote chasing until I get back. And I don't know if we have snow. We only hunt them when there's snow on the ground.
Sure.
We don't use dogs. I got a couple groups that we hunt.
They are
and
dogs.
We do kill them. I am a we jump them, we dump them type of guy. We kick them up, surround the section, and they kick up the coyote. And listen. Let me tell you something. I do not hate coyotes. I love coyotes. I think they're a great, amazing animal. I might not. Let's kill them all. I think coyotes are probably the most amazing creature on the planet.
Yeah, they're cool.
But when you start getting a lot of man, you got to thin them out a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not saying kill them all, but you got to,
them out.
Yeah. Anyway, I know this is not a coyote hunting, type of deal, but I'm just telling
it's
you.
With everything
that was my roots. My roots
it,
is coyote hunting.
They're going to die anyways.
You got to get on them.
Get the benefit
we
out
jump,
of them.
we dump.
Period.
Michael Olson from Patreon. Moving on. I'd like to hear if those guys have any good stories from their teenage or early 20s when they were cutting their teeth in the industry, or a good story about the big bucks in Dunn County. Jared used to hunt. In Dunn County, Jared used to hunt. I said it fast.
Oh,
not your original jungle.
You're on the spot,
that is, yeah.
Jared.
Well, I grew up in the part of Dunn County that didn't have a lot of big bucks. I grew up on more of the southeast side of the county, out there by the Elkmont Swamp. There's a few though. I mean, I got a handful of stories. Probably one of my most memorable was with Jared Suko, the one that my buddy. Back in the day, I had a big buck. I let him go the year before on camera. It would have been the biggest buck I ever shot. He was a real nice buck. And for that area, real good. I mean, you'd have been
In the newspaper?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it'd have been in the newspaper, local newspaper.
Hey, what did he do? Or whatever. I let him go.
Shit might even
I was
on the
filming,
news.
whatever. I decided I was going to get one of my buddies on him, probably Suko, which didn't happen. And the next year I ran into that deer. 2 days before the gun season, I shined him. We could shine legally up there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Jesus, I've been looking for you for a year and a half.
Jesus.
Yeah, there you are. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, opening day came and some other hunters must have flushed him about a mile and a half from there. And
this is
I
what
spotted
year?
him. Then I missed him with my muzzleloader. It was shotgun where I grew up, no rifle. But I had my muzzleloader. I missed him on the run with a muzzleloader. Then I took his tracked him for about 5 miles that day. And played that game. I missed him once, but then he never let me get close enough to, you know, he was in the tag elder.
This is how many years ago? I think people need to hear how many years ago this was.
So I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
do the math.
He ran this huge loop through this big public swamp, and there was some private in there too, but I could hunt all the private. I mean, these guys would let anybody hunt, it's
public-private is what we call that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I grew up. There was no leased ground or anything. Yeah. I mean, a farmer, you just rolled up and knocked on the door.
Not at all.
Every guy from 30 years ago promised him a roll of deer sausage could hunt in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Bringing in a turkey before Thanksgiving here. I got my best plump turkey.
I'm going to pluck it in your yard.
So I tracked that deer about 5 miles that day, ran out of light. Finally ran out of light.
Chancy.
I had to work when I worked in that sports shop, that archery shop.
4-year-old.
I worked the next day.
Flim flam.
And I figured where the big buck would be. I figured he'd hole up in this little tag elder swamp, about 20-acre swamp. And I went up there. It was after dark now, after I got off of work, and I shined, and he was out in this field with some does. And now he's probably 3.5 miles from where I had seen him before the gun season. And the next morning, I pulled up the road. There was a little bit of snow on the ground, and I went walking just where I suspected to check. Like the field was on this side of the road, so I went walking the road. Now I knew what his track looked like because I'd been on it for 5 miles,
right?
The day before, or 2 days before that.
Old Cherokee style.
Yeah, found his track going in that morning, 5 feet from where his track came out that night before. So I was like, okay, he's in there. Mm-hmm. So then I got Suko around, and he had a shotgun. He had a 12. Or he had an 870 12 gauge. Smooth bore. That's what I ran to.
Unbelievable.
When I had a shotgun.
Bird barrel right down that bead.
So I knew this deer well enough to know, like, okay, he's going to remember that I was on his ass tracking him for 5 miles. Like,
he's going to loop your ass.
He's going to get to a spot where he can see me. He's going to run out, and he's going to get to a spot where he can watch me coming from a ways away. So I put Suko about a half mile out from the swamp up on a high point. And I said, just sit here. He's not going to run to you private. Just watch where he goes, and then we'll put something together. And I went in there, and he was only 100 yards.
This is not ignorant talk. This is true story.
Off the road. No, it's all true.
He's not going to run to you probably.
He was only about 120 yards off the road, which surprised me. But I jumped him, and then backed out and went and met up with Suko, and here he held up in a little brush pocket where he could watch me. He watched me for about 15 minutes, Suko said, and then laid down, and I sent him in there. I filmed it with my Handycam from, 600-800 yards out, filmed him walk down there with his 12 gauge. He's like walking around. It's great. It's on video, but he's walking around. All of a sudden, it's just like, where'd this deer go? I know I seen him. And he puts his gun down. No more does it. The buck jumps up right next to him.
That's when he'll jump. When you put your gun down, he's watching your ass.
Yep.
It's like any other animal. When you're least effective.
He's got a bird ball. I'm going to get up now.
He missed him every shot. Last shot, he finally got him.
They know. I had one. I had one horse
story. I like that one because it's tracking.
But it's true.
We used to track them. I knew how to track deer very well before I was actually of age. In Wisconsin, I was 12. I knew how to track deer very well because my dad was a awesome tracker, and I got to hear all his stories growing up, and I ingested all that, so I knew very well. I was very conscious.
It's impressive
of what a deer would do in this particular case and everything like that. So by the time I hit hunting,
I was already way
flying.
progressed.
Same with coyotes. That's how I started.
Yeah.
I mean, you drive around second track going in, fresh track in the morning, no tracks going out. You get on track.
No dogs. I am the dog.
You damn right. I had one time. I come up and that damn tail was sticking out of the snow. He was buried in there hiding. Like actually that one I ran in there and I was like, where'd he go? And they're like, we ain't seen him.
Hibernation mode.
And that son of a bitch, I tracked him and there his tail was sticking out and I kicked that sucker and he come out there and I rolled him. I said he's down, but he was hiding. That coyote was they're amazing creatures. They're
no different.
I don't want to say it, but they're a dog. They are smarter than any dog out there on the planet.
Chancy and I talked about turkeys on the way down a little bit. Like literally, turkeys can sense your presence in a hiding situation. If you talk about a white-tailed deer,
kill them.
Oh no shit! But you talk about a white-tailed deer. I mean, this dude.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean that situation.
Sorry, I brought it up.
I think turkeys smell
He didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, try to kill a rooster pheasant with a bow. Walking around. Hey, them things, you draw your bow back, they go back training. They're already, they're gone. Rooster pheasant is, let me tell you, if you can kill a rooster pheasant with a bow out of a tree stand, give me a shout. Unless that son of a bitch is one of you're tossing some feed out there to that little bastard, you ain't killing one because them son of bitches will spot you before they get within 50 yards of gawking. I'm telling you, am I right or am I wrong? Rooster pheasants.
Hey. Rooster pheasants are tough.
Hey, they're
looking
for hawks since the time they hatch.
I'm telling you.
All right, last question here. I want to know how they made those decoys. I got it in some spot and stock here in West Virginia and could have really used one last year.
That's you. You made that decoy, Bubba.
Yeah. Well, we used 1/2-inch thick plastic.
No.
Right?
Don't go that far.
Don't get shot. Anybody gets killed from this, I'm not responsible.
There you go.
End of story.
That's it. Like, you got to take responsibility for your own actions.
So you just want to leave it at that?
I do know a kid that almost got killed because it wasn't gun season, it was bow, but they pulled up, they was drinking, and somebody thought it was a big buck and had a rifle in the truck and almost killed him.
Yeah, I believe that.
I always pull it down if I see a vehicle.
You're damn right.
I believe
mainly because I don't want them to even see us to just keep driving. I don't need you stopping out
Hit
here.
The ground.
But from a safety standpoint, you got to be smart about it. You're in West Virginia, East. Got to be careful hiding behind the decoys out there. Like, you better be looking in the trees and stuff. And
a lot of inbreds out there in West Virginia.
I'm just saying, a lot higher densities of populations. Thank you.
We know what you're saying, Jared.
I didn't know where West Virginia is at. Where the hell is
No, I'm saying there's
way
a
up
lot of
north.
people.
It's West Virginia.
East part of the country, a lot of people. I wasn't going there. No,
I see it on a map. It's purple.
Once you go to
up
the
by the
PA
James
show,
River,
you're going to understand what I'm talking about. When you go to the PA show, there's traffic flow. There's a lot of hunters, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and then we put real hide on it.
Don't want you getting shot out there in West Virginia. I want you to be careful out there.
I don't want nobody getting shot. Why do you think I haven't produced the decoy? People die.
Yeah.
I
mean, seriously, if we produced that decoy, people would die.
Yep.
People would not be smart about it. They would not be conscious of other hunters, people driving up the roads, pulling it down. Like,
you'd be having some of them
just because
hate pages
they don't know from their perspective what the heck. Oh, big buck. Oh, cool. Oh, I've wanted one my whole life. I got a rifle in the back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you're running 1/2-inch plastic, and then you run real hide and real antlers?
Kevlar, because that's somewhat bulletproof.
That's not a
light is. Hey, and Jared, here's what's cool. He built the best one from the start. It's so light. You just got to get creative. If you want to build your own decoy, you do it whatever you want.
Shay did the taxidermy on it.
Yeah. Shay did. He did. Yeah, and that thing is, I use it more than anybody. And that damn thing is lean and mean and light. You can have your bow. You can run that thing. There's no it's getting heavy. It's at that right amount of weight that you never worry about the weight.
The right balance.
I've seen a lot of guys, they'll build these decoys, they put the whole damn full body mount on that. It's like carrying, it's like you're getting ready to go on a trip.
It's not functional.
Hey, we hunted an antelope on public 2 years ago, and there was a dude out there had a deer cart. He had a full mount antelope and 3 shoulder mounts that he would hang off of round bales on public.
He had them on a deer cart,
and he'd hide it. He'd tuck it in between. I hope this dude might listen. It's
I have a picture of it. I'll show you guys after.
Dude, he would roll it in between. There was some old grain bins just out in the middle of nowhere. Then this is pretty far back in on some public for antelope. It's a rare. It was a rare position where it was at.
It's like he was going to a show.
Yeah, it was. He's setting up at a trade show.
You kill antelope doing that.
Hey, I'll let you tell. We didn't see an antelope get within.
Oh, really? That one's
50 yards of that motherfucker. He was putting all the effort in. It was pretty
at one point, with the first time we went out there, we're like, "Oh, look at all them antelope over there." And then we're like, "Wait, there's a guy right there." Like we thought they were.
He's a puppet show.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's doing a puppet show.
Showed up to the puppet show.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Antelope decoy very well. If you put the decoys out, put your double bull blind out.
I mean, if you're going to build a decoy like that, be smart. Like, if you're using it in the timber, you'd be looking in the trees for other hunters. Don't be a dumbass. I mean, be smart. Like,
there's times for it.
Real smart.
That is a big reason why I haven't even considered mass producing it, because people would die.
Yeah, no, you're smart there. I almost got shot by a crossbow hunter. I know a lot of regular listeners know about it, but we have our working class bow hunters group where I saw a comment today. Someone's like, oh yeah, Kurt it was a joke. He was joking when he made his comment. Kurt hates this guy just as much as he hates that crossbow hunter. So I think a lot of people who don't actually listen to all the episodes think I hate crossbow hunters. I don't. I almost got shot by a crossbow hunter, not this past season, but the season before. I was on a permission piece on my side. He was on the neighbor's. It was last light. I had did a hanging hunt, and I had sticks on my back and was walking through a path. Had a guy pop up. He thought it was a rack.
Let's make something happen. Let's slid that son of a bitch and bolt up in the jump.
He was like 10 yards, and I heard him flinch, like, oh, fuck. And then he stood up, and I saw him, and it was him about to shoot me and then pulled off. He almost fucking shot me.
He probably had a 4-blade Muzzy. You would have done.
He had a range.
3.5-inch cut.
He had a range. He would have hit
Fizzle tip. You'd have been done, bud.
He had a range. He would have hit me in the sternum and just slid me down my ribs.
It probably was a rage. I mean,
why?
You would have been fine with the rage. It would have missed you.
Why?
It might have deflected off your shoulder and went through the woods.
Scary circumstance. I didn't realize the seriousness of it until I was on the way out, and I called my dad. He's like, yeah, you about fucking died. That dude about for sure shot you.
You ain't living with an arrow. I mean, I'd rather get shot with a gun than I would an arrow.
Me,
absolutely.
For sure.
I wouldn't. I did.
You're just some high.
I ain't never lost a deer with a gun. There's a shock factor.
So Chancy, we will find you.
I don't want to deal with that.
If you're hit with a gun, we will find you.
You know,
there's kind of a thing though. I mean, all archery hunters sitting in here. Somebody breaks into your house and goes running across your yard or whatever, and if you got a bow,
I'm going with a bow.
That poor bastard's gonna hurt.
Well, Jared and I talked about this.
Jared's slingshot. He's just
building up weaponry. I mean,
can you imagine? You gut hit some son of a bitch and then
about that.
Hey, tell him about you stabbed yourself with your own hair one time. Hey, you about went down. Hey, you only stuck that thing a quarter deep. About took you out. It don't tell him.
I'm telling you, right there.
Yeah,
that's in the video.
Tell that story.
Isn't that the movie Troy? Wasn't that the Achilles?
Troy.
Yeah, I'm a lot more conscious when an arrow's on now.
Tell them about how that happened. I mean, this is careful.
I got to pee. I can't take it, boys.
Yeah,
go for it.
I'm after. We don't need you.
Good,
Kurt.
Good. I don't want to be here anymore.
He's had it.
Hey, just leave.
So you were all knocked, and I was walking through the timber, and it was one of them days where I just wanted to have an arrow knocked because
you never know.
Pretty wild.
You never know.
Might need it knocked. And I did something stupid where there was a log and I was trying to be sneaky, and it was easier for me to kick my leg out rather than up and over. And I kicked it out and caught that 2-blade.
Just back that leg right up into that 2-blade.
I mean, I was moving slow. I was like barely lifting my leg slow to get over that.
Just caught that much.
Right through it.
Can you imagine?
And it got you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, blood started gushing. I'm freaking out. Shades.
Top quarter of the tip in the jungle, bleeding up.
I'm going to bleed out before I get to the vehicle. I mean, the blood's just... I mean, you slice your Achilles tendon down there broadside. Yeah. I mean, the broadhead wasn't running like this down the leg. It was horizontal.
He'd have been dead like that fucking big giant.
Well, when I come down the day after I come down to Iowa, I drew an Iowa tag. So
I got to deal with
could barely walk.
Gimpy. I had a crutch. I
took him out.
I built up a crutch. I went out there. I was crutch hunting. Yeah,
a fresh, clean cut like that. You're done.
That's when you killed that buck in the timber. You did the loop on.
I did 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, then answer this. So what'd you do? Like, what was your reaction after that? What'd you do?
Might have been a life
I got
lesson.
to the vehicle.
Oh, you went back.
Had hit a buck the day before, so we were out there. We hunted the first hour, and then we were going to look for, to try to, get the deer. And I got back to the vehicle. By the time I got back to the car, the bleeding calmed down.
Yeah.
Then after a little while, I taped it all up. and went hobbling back out there to try to help him find the deer.
Didn't go to the hospital at all?
It's all
no, he went to the hospital later.
And then it reopened when I was out there. Then I knew we were leaving for Iowa that night, so then I went in and got stitches on it.
Yeah. He killed a hell of a
clean,
in Iowa in the
clean,
timber.
sharp broadhead like that. You ain't stopping that blood until it wants to stop.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they got that little tool now, or that little sticker thing where you can hit it and then you pull it and it sucks it together on the go.
Yep.
I mean, it ain't something not bad to have out in the tool.
No, we're
took,
wild.
We took those with us to Alaska when we were moose hunting because I'll tell you what, you run into something like that out there,
might need it.
You ain't gonna run into a hard road anywhere.
You gotta have it. So that's what I bought when we went on our mule deer hunt in Wyoming. We were in the backcountry. I bought a little backcountry medical kit.
Yep.
Shit like that in it. Cause dude, you know what? When we were caping out my mule deer, you get too many guys on one mule. We were in a hurry because of a hailstorm. You get everyone's caping and going and doing this.
Dude, that's the worst thing in the world.
You can't do it.
To have multiple guys skinning an animal is, I think, one of the dumbest things.
This guy can skin an animal quick.
Well, when we were in a hurry, so we had we were in the back country. It was dark. We had a hike back. It was like hailstorm on us. It was just crazy. And I'm cutting up this way. We're butchering and caping and doing it at the same time.
You'll slice each other quicker than anything.
Devin about ran his blade up my wrist.
You're fucking right.
And all of us caught up. We were like, oh, fuck. Like,
stupid.
Let's all calm down. Just
it's like, hey, time out.
Yeah. And that's what we did. It's like, you know, fuck that. I'm going to sit back. I'll go over here.
Yep.
And just
relax a minute. Relax.
Yeah, because, dude, it's no joke.
So easy.
You don't realize the seriousness of it until it happens.
Doesn't even matter. Let's say you were by yourself.
I'm glad that happened, and I was glad right after it happened with the arrow on the bow because we're out there with a guy filming all the time.
Yeah.
And it taught me how little amount of pressure it takes to drive a two-blade right now.
You spin around to talk to the camera
all
guy.
All it takes is the guy with an arrow on.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, looking this way, spins his bow around this way. The camera guy is looking back over here, here's something, and takes one step forward. Boom.
Dude, imagine if he hit
you're in his gut.
If he touched you right here.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're done.
I
mean, in my case, it's probably a little lower than the juggler.
I don't load up no more.
I'm not filming Chancy. Chancy take me in the juggler, but I take him in the guts.
Chancy's over your head. You're good.
That's right. Yeah, he's fucking.
My buddy and I were in South Dakota, and it got dark one night in a ground blind, and I'm like, well, we're out of light. You know, running camera and everything. I'm like, we're out of light, so I unlock my arrow, and we start talking back and forth, and I start trying to enunciate or. Trying to make a point of what I'm saying, but I'm still holding my arrow.
You're getting expressive.
I'm looking at him over my shoulder, to my right, but my bow's in my left hand, and I'm sitting there talking and using the arrow like I talk with my hands.
Oh yeah.
Start talking with my arrow.
It's over.
And he's like, put the fucking arrow away before you pull that bow.
Yeah. Dude,
I've been out there before. He's using it like it's a
I'm the same way.
Magic wand.
Wizard of Oz going on here.
This is the master.
Break that damn thing.
Not only cutting someone hitting your bowstring, it's your fucking
dumb.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what. That's actually funny that you bring that up because I had this outdoor life thing here a couple months. So they wanted to take some photos, right?
You almost cut your string?
Listen to this. This is hilarious. I've not
He's
shared
never told this to me.
I probably didn't. No. I didn't think to, but I didn't hold it back. Obviously, I'm sharing it now.
Yep.
I just forgot about it till you just
outdoor
mentioned
life.
It.
Oh, okay. I thought you forgot.
So they fly in this photographer from Denver. You know, high profile photographer. They want to take some photos and stuff, so we go out there. Now, back in the early days of longbow, I carried an extra string on me because I eventually figured without paying too much attention, I'd slice my string.
You'd fuck it up somehow.
Yeah. We're out there on a photo shoot. First photo shoot I've ever done
in his life with a long
outdoor life one.
Yeah. Like they wanted some photos, right? So we're out there, and he instructed me, okay, do this. And, and we were taking a lot of different ones, but I just nonchalantly, wasn't paying attention, looking, and I ran the string gone.
Broadhead across the sky.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great because I literally chuckled to myself. I was like, I knew that was going to happen. I just figured it was going to happen in hunt, and I was like, that reminded me. I was like, yeah, those first couple of years, I carried an extra string just in case something stupid would happen.
It comes back.
And I was like, I need to start doing that because of what just happened.
You can say what you want, but my read on it is he got his first photo shoot with Outdoor Life. Could have put him here. Humbled him back to reality. That's my take, man. You can say whatever you fucking want. It kept him humble, right? It was fucked up.
Right. It was pretty funny.
It happened.
It was pretty funny. I had another string in the truck though.
Look at this.
It didn't fuck your boat.
Don't worry, folks.
So we got to finish the shoot.
It didn't fuck your boat.
No.
I bet they thought they were fucked. Oh,
there ain't much tension on it by that point on the longbow limbs.
Right.
Hey, Jared, I bet you barely even touched that thing with a sharp rod.
That blew my mind. I barely grazed that thing, and it gone.
Hey, pay attention to the pictures. There's no string. It's just an arrow, and he's actually just.
No,
there's no string there.
Those pictures turned out with no string.
I can't remember. I might have told him to take me a picture of this. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. But
but at that point, it's looking like an archery trade photo shoot because their marketing team fucking sucks.
We laughed about it. We laughed.
Chancy like that one.
I was like, I should be a lot more embarrassed about this than what I am. But
yeah,
I know shit happened. I'm just glad it's
you had in your mind.
I would have been so like pissed if I was on a big buck stock.
Oh, it had been over. You'd been just
hit the buzzer.
That's what it means.
But during the photo shoot, and it happened, you're just like, I knew this was going to happen at some point. It just happened to be here.
I had one of those somewhere on my buttons. I don't have it loaded.
No, but I
love those.
I mean it. I think that's life, though.
Oh,
I think that is. You cannot.
When you least expect it to happen, it's gonna fucking happen.
Right.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
It will make you humble, dude.
Dude, as soon as I saw, so I follow Ryan Upchurch because I like his hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like a self-made guy. He doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. He put a video up today. He's like, man, right now, he goes, I'm the happiest I've ever been. My whole team around me is as good as they get. I'm on top of the world. I'm feeling great. My team's great. Everything's on the up and up. He goes, at this point, I've realized this is where and this has nothing to do with the outdoor life thing or just
but it's true. It's true.
But he said, at this point in my life, everybody around me sees where I'm at and that I'm happy and I'm surrounded by good people and we're all happy. He goes, they start attacking you from every angle.
They're going to shit on you as soon as they
can. They attack you physically.
Even your good guys.
The wrong good guys, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
You got to be with the right team.
You're good. Okay, good guys.
Yeah.
The good guys, right.
You gotta watch it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
You gotta watch him right there.
Heavy air quotes.
Yeah,
no, you're right. No, you don't gotta worry about us. I guarantee you don't gotta worry about us. You do what you do.
Tanner ain't going back to PA.
Hey, trust me, he's serenading, boy. They ain't coming. He's covered.
I'm coming up.
Have you ever watched 1883 yet? He's already here. He's already migrated.
Tanner, you know what? Hey, Tanner, you owe us, man.
I know.
We predicted your fate.
You did in Iowa. That's crazy. It's true.
Did you know this, Eric?
Yeah, he don't. But
I don't know.
I had a podcast with him in Des Moines in 2020.
He was there. The podcast we did with these boys at the Iowa show.
Yeah.
He just wasn't at Nebraska to hear the fate.
Kurt goes, "Oh, damn, your woman could be here." I was like, "There ain't no way no one's tying me down." I'm like, I'm living my life. I'm gonna
been there, done that.
Right. I said that, and then Kurt goes, "Oh, your woman's probably here, and you don't even know it." No shit. I guess she was.
No shit.
Hooked you and booked you. Hooked you and booked you. You're dumb, bud. You're double lunged in Iowa. From here on out.
In Iowa, because this girl's cool as shit.
Double lunged you. She snuck you. Plucked you like a chicken.
She did.
Hey, at least
she did.
At least he came to good state.
Well, it was an on-lead.
I'm glad to have him in the state of Iowa.
That's right.
Chance, it's not just her. I was already leaning to it.
Yeah,
right. You need to be now. Hey, you are a genetic magnum, and you are built to be.
There you go. There it is.
Hey,
it doesn't matter. I owned 2 properties in Iowa before I met this chick.
That's right.
Not to toot my own horn, but I'm just telling you, it wasn't because of her.
I know that.
He followed Jared to every state, and I was like,
no, that is not true either. I was heading to Kansas for a shed hunt. I stopped in
You just have
slid in.
You need stars aligned? Talk to this man.
This shit don't make sense.
Hey,
Jared just happens to be in Iowa, and I'm going to Kansas. I'm going to stop.
Tanner's been running the jungle for a long time. I mean, I guarantee you. So, it's good that, hey, all our paths met. That's going to be a good
It's
time.
a good thing. I think I love our minds. Like, you ever get, like, you hang out with your buddies from high school and, like, sit there, no offense, but sit there and be like, oh, shit, this is heading nowhere. Yeah. When I hang out with these two motherfuckers, like, like I'm going somewhere. I mean, not with Whitetail Adrenaline, with life.
No,
like,
it just makes you want to be.
Does that make sense?
Well, this goes back to what I was talking about. When you're in your 30s, your circle shrinks up. You got the right people. You choose who is around you, and it's productive.
It's productive. As long as it's positive. Heading in the right direction.
Right. That's right.
That's all life's about when you hit your 30s. I hope everybody agrees to that.
Well, I don't know about positive, but
no,
you know what, boys?
You got to be positive.
Killer fucking podcast, boys.
Hit the gavel.
You bet.
This is so much fun.
Hit the buzzer.
You guys,
I want you to go through all the sounds.
Here we got this.
What do you got?
That's a fun sound. I don't have them
That's
all.
an arrow flight.
I don't have them all
That's
loaded.
an arrow flight.
Yeah, it went from.
We got. What do we got loaded?
It
Is
goes
this
through
a
you.
spaceship or what am I in right now?
Normal.
Hey, we are.
We got this one. That's like a late night show.
Yeah, that is late night. It's late night. What time is it? Do we have enough time to
9:16.
order a wing?
We got this. That's a fun one. Tanner, you know that one. We got the round of applause. We got to have the round of applause. I also heard from listeners that sounds like rain.
Rain?
Kind of sounds like rain.
Heavy rain.
It was a pouring downstream. We almost
I think we
didn't
can do
make
better than that.
With a whole bunch of people clapping.
And then we got a crowd favorite.
I like that. I like Space
that's
Jam
the main
shit.
one.
Yeah.
That's the main one.
That's what ring a bell.
But the
It's
fun,
like
fun
over
thing
my
is
head.
I can preload anything I want on there. We got some things in mind. We just got to take some time
you
to
can
get
do
it
whatever the
loaded.
fuck you
Hey,
want.
it's our world.
Oh,
right?
I got all kinds of sounds.
This is your
dude,
jungle.
outside.
This is your cave.
I do.
Hook me up, Jared.
I got like
We need a
40,000 sound effects.
I need a sound effect of Chancy saying like we're in
I
the
do.
jungle, baby.
Hey, you remember back in the early? That was whenever it was the cover.
I love that. Dude, I love that sound.
I like it.
The Blue Jays and the Crows are like, whatever a Blue Jay does.
Dude, I loved it.
we
I
need
left
one
it. I left that through the whole thing.
We need
The
one
bird?
of Chancy just peacocking.
I think I got a peacock sound, actually.
When we get done with this recording, we're gonna have Chancy do some sound effects for our soundboard.
That's right.
There you go.
Jared,
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming here and bringing us into the podcast.
Sure, dude.
There's
Thanks for
mine.
having us.
Is there anything you would like to add on the show while we're still kicking, man?
I think we pretty well covered it, unless
Covered
I'm
it all.
missing something or.
You got something, Kurt. You're the main. You kept it. You kept it.
Hey, if anybody
maybe
wants
I'm
to
missing
talk
something.
about more stuff, we'll come back to the jungle.
Come on back.
And we'll come back, and I will drink root beer and rums till the sun comes up again.
Hey, I appreciate you, Jared, so
Yeah,
much. I think
for sure.
And
Thanks
I'm
for
going to
having
get
me.
to everybody here, but I just want to give you some credit, man. I think you are more of an icon than what you even realize in our modern time in hunting.
Yes.
Amazing.
And I think you're a public land legend. You're a traditional hunting legend. And you're creating a legacy that I don't even really think you realize, like the impact you're going to make on the current time. And maybe in 20 years, you'll look back on it and be like, oh, fuck, I didn't realize. But I'm going to call it right now because I feel it. I've witnessed it. I've looked up to you for it. And I know that there's a ton of people behind me that feel the same exact way and then even more.
Yep.
So we just want to give you
thank
that
you.
credit here on the record that, like, for real, what you're doing is legitimately game changing. I know that gets overused, but with Whitetail Adrenaline, it's a real thing.
You're put on this planet to do what you're doing
And
right now.
Absolutely. And don't ever look
It takes
back.
more than just me. Just
Don't ever look
just
back.
Fair, like I mean,
Don't ever look back.
I got all these guys.
Trust me, this is work. Hey, this is easy work doing what we're doing.
We're a fucking part of it.
And what Kurt just said, I mean, he said you're upcoming. I think you're doing it right now.
Well,
I think people are.
But yeah, but I don't think he realizes it yet until down the
he
road.
won't.
you
For
know?
He
sure,
won't
for sure.
till
But I'm
it's
saying,
bigger
like,
than
right
him.
now, you're influencing more people than you actually realize.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I just have to give you that credit, man. It's like your mindset's fueled this whole thing, and then you got a great support crew behind you.
And there's a lot
That's
of
cool.
shit underground coming
Yeah.
behind him.
Hey, it's
letting the cat out of the bag.
There isn't no cat. There ain't no cat. I'm just saying.
It's like,
Yeah, whatever. We're in the,
No, but
the
for
drainage
real,
ditch.
I mean, there's no like
No end to it.
in the early days. Yeah, I did a lot alone, but I mean, I that's one thing that I realized this last year too, is not only can I not do it alone, but I have the greatest team of people.
Yeah,
that's
Whether
awesome.
The guys out in the field.
Good for you guys.
Or
That's awesome.
You know, hunting, filming.
We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't love doing it and around of it, Jared.
Yeah.
So.
And we are going to get this post-production edit dialed in. So
it's going to be a lot smoother in the future.
Yeah.
And there won't
Once it starts getting smooth,
and it's still going to be great quality.
It's never going to get rough.
I can't go down that road. I can't degrade the production quality to just put it out there. I'm not wired that way.
He is a perfectionist. There ain't no stopping this man. He's going to do it how he wants it, the way he wants it. If it ain't done it right, he ain't going
to release it.
It's only going to be
crazy.
better and
But
better
that's
and
what
better.
you built. This has been a 10-year cycle to produce what you've dreamed and what you thought of. Everything takes 10 years. I've never seen anything. It's a 10-year cycle on an average of what people they start a business. It takes 10 years on an average to bring something successful. I've heard a lot of people that are very successful.
Yeah, right there.
And it takes 10 years. I mean, it's been 10 years pretty much on the dot when you killed your big one. You got Jared Scheffler, started the public hunting thing, filming, and then he's killing one of the biggest typicals ever taken with a longbow on public. It was all meant to be.
You tell me that's not meant to be. You tell me that's not meant to be.
We're the shitting gig, and we're part of the war team, and we're just out here just flinging arrows, and every once in a while we'll hit something.
300 spark.
Chancy, thank you so much for being here, man. You guys,
I love it, man. Anytime we'll come, anytime you want. We'll make it a couple.
Yeah, this isn't that
deal
far now. Since I got covered up with that girl in Iowa. Shit.
Yeah, he's half the distance now.
Imagine trying to haul me from PA. That'd be a load.
Hey, that'd be a load.
Fly him in for $250.
What do you mean? You got two of my vehicles. You got a van.
I got whatever I want.
I said, you want to take my truck? He's like, we got the burb.
Yeah, it's
The
Jared.
burb's still alive.
Why don't we run the hell out of it?
Hey, and
The van is pretty much Tanner's now.
Hey, we got the gas card, so it's good.
Yeah.
By the way, the tags are expired on both those vehicles.
We know. I told Chancy that before I left.
He blew by a cop going 85.
Yeah.
I was like, he's pulling us over, and that guy was doing it. You
can do that.
Super Trooper style. The cop went. Chancy goes, oh shit! I went around him, get past the cop, and he did not pull us over. He just
he had to get back home. He was
Super Trooper shit.
They ain't pulling you over in a burb. I can tell you that.
I'll just figure that. I've been pulled over in the burb a lot.
Jared needs a gas sponsor. That'd be the only acceptable sponsor you could have.
The come and go.
Yeah, the come and go.
It'd be kind of fitting.
That's good.
I did get pulled over doing 99 on the way back from Idaho.
Tanner, you got anything to add?
He went out to guide me on an elk hunt.
Guide you. Yeah.
He guided me good too.
Is that it? Do you really want to ask him that question?
What the hell is your question?
He didn't even hear the fucking question.
Let's hear the question again.
I was trying to thank you for being here, and I want to ask you if you had anything to add, but I
really don't. I think it covered a lot of shit. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
Good.
It's heading in the right direction.
Thank you for being here, man.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me be here.
My cheeks hurt. I've been laughing too hard.
Oh, dude, I know. I feel it right here. Eric?
I just want to say thank you guys for coming down, and I hope we have a lot more of this shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun.
Ross.
This is the first in-studio one I've done.
I've never done it in studio.
It's different.
But hey, that one we did in Nebraska, that was, I was like, yeah,
we've done them on the spot with you guys, and I always like that, like the in-person.
But this is different.
But this is different.
This is different.
This is pro. This is studio.
This is
pro.
Soundproof.
Studio quality.
Real shit.
Dudes, we
making money off this shit.
Ross.
Hey, we're trying to look for.
We love having you guys here. This is a fun get together here. So we've had a lot of fun. I mean, shit, we've been laughing for like 3.5 hours. So.
What 3.5
hours?
I don't know. I've been laughing the whole time.
We love hunting big deer and having fun doing it.
And talking about it.
I got one thing to add. Thank you guys for being here. You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. Thanks for being here.